and 23-year-old Dequan Ray of Burnham were spotted early Friday morning coming out of the Cook County Forest Preserve in Calumet City. They were later arrested. Lake County Prosecutor's Office charging them with theft, but now federal charges are being requested. Well, for those of you who are getting a little bit of early Christmas shopping done, it's going to cost you a bit more if you shop in Illinois. Illinois is one of several states that have started collecting an online sales tax. The new tax, put in place yesterday, follows a Supreme Court decision from last year. Illinois will charge online shoppers 6.25% on purchases, just like in traditional stores. Many websites already charged that tax. The folks at IllinoisTop200.com yesterday says voters in the state picked Michael Jordan as the state's best athlete of the bicentennial. Chris Willis with the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library said Jordan's legacy, in his opinion, is as strong as it ever was. The rest of the top five include Dick Butkus, Walter Payton, Ernie Banks, and Jackie Joyner-Kersee. But if this reporter can say to Chris Willis, come on, a revote, please. Any top five that does not have Bonnie Blair in it, or Red Grange in it, or Tennis Hall of Famer Jimmy Connors in it, is no one's Illinois top five. Chicago sports, Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun singled in runs in the eighth inning. Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1 in a tie-breaking game at Wrigley Field. Cubs host the Rockies in the NL wildcard game tonight. And Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo says it was tough to lose the division like this.
You let it sit in for a couple minutes. It sucks. It's one of our goals. It was hard fought. We had a good regular season, and obviously we just fell up short.
John Lester takes the mound for the Northsiders against Kyle Freeland. Milwaukee will host the winner of tonight's game in the NLDS, which begins Thursday. Bears outside linebacker Sam Acho done for the season with a torn pectoral muscle. Blackhawks goalie Corey Crawford back at practice for the first time since February. The news is a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Help change their future in a single moment. And see how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 5:09. We'll have a check of traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicagoland's retirement expert, on Saturday, October 27th. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicagoland Waterproofing and by Tom Mirabaldi, independent agent for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells,
and the Dynavite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynavite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
For just $5 a day, you can sponsor a child through Compassion International. It's pocket change to you. It's life-changing for a child in need. Be part of the change. Become a sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio.
5:12 and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's southwest side, Blue Island Avenue is closed southbound at Western. There's flooding, viaducts there. Starting today, 9:30, the closure of the Columbus Bridge over the Chicago River. And sometime today as well, the right lane of northbound Columbus closed Roosevelt to Balboa for marathon setup. The Chicago Marathon is Sunday. Seeing delays on inbound I-57 whole state of the merge. It's about a 2-minute delay there in the wake of overnight work. Bishop Ford, heavier. Stop and go traffic, 115th to 103rd, down to one lane, 23 minutes, 80-94 to the right. Outbound 22, the crash past 103rd, blocking the right lane. Tollways are wet, but otherwise okay. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly cloudy day, high 67. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 62. Tomorrow, breezy with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour in the morning, up to 35 miles per hour for the afternoon. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun, high 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
60 at O'Hare, 67 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, if you can't hold up under the home cooking questioning at MSNBC, I don't know how much chance there is for your story to get traction. So is the case of Julie Swetnick. Now, normally we wouldn't even bring her up because I'm not sure, because she's represented by Michael Avenatti.
Exactly. She's a porn star's lawyer.
But she was mentioned, and Democrats keep talking about 3 accusers. Her name did come up in the Theater of the Grotesque on Thursday. So Julie Swetnick sat down with MSNBC's Kate Snow. I don't know who these people are.
Snow.
Never heard of her.
She's married to a former football player at University of Iowa who is from Palatine High School.
Is that right?
The Brahms, yeah.
What's his name? Snow?
What? No, is it Brahm?
Brahm.
Yeah. So that's her real name, but
does he just have one name like Cher? What's his first name?
I don't know if I should. I mean, Peter. It's Peter. He played for Palatine High School, and then he went on and played at University of Iowa. He met Kate Snow. And he stays at home and raises the kids, and she works. He's a cool dude. Love him. Love him.
Stay-at-home dad, huh?
No, he's a great father. Great guy.
I love that. Like, you gave his last name. You gave who he's married to. I don't know if I should say his first name. I don't want to out him.
I don't know.
Okay.
He's a great guy, and his sister has Down syndrome, and that's how my sister was her teacher. So that's how our families know each other, and she was in my sister's wedding, and they're a great family.
All right. It was nice to see Iowa produce something.
Hey.
Julie Swetnick with Kate Snow, who's married to some Iowa football player from Palatine. So you have the full backstory.
Whose younger sister is Kara?
Yeah, Kara. You remember.
I love
Kara.
Kara. Kara's awesome. And if she's listening, we love you, Kara.
Yeah. Remember those times at Dirty Nellies? Sure.
We tore it up.
Yeah.
Man. When we got kicked out, and they had to bring out the mops and the brooms and pound the table.
We kept it clean, though.
We know. Yeah, we did.
We didn't throw ice at anybody.
No, we didn't.
We'll get to that. But
and stop throwing ice at me, okay?
Julie Swetnick, when did she come? Did she come forward after Ford?
No, she came. She was the third.
No, I know. I'm not confused. She is.
Oh, so you only thought about coming forward when you learned about Dr. Ford?
Yes, because I did not know how close Brett Kavanaugh was to possibly becoming the next Supreme Court justice.
I just want to get the timeline right about this because he was nominated in July. Christine Ford, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, came forward in the Washington Post more recently in September. So was it in September that you
It's been several weeks, but I'm not somebody who follows the news. I'm not political at all.
Oh, well, you might want to get on that, Tootsie, because you're in the news, okay?
It's been several weeks. Today's October 2nd. Was it September? Was it 5 minutes ago? Boy, it's all sort of a haze.
And while we're watching this or listening, just keep in mind that she sued the Washington, D.C. metro system because she fell and broke her nose, and it hurt and damaged her modeling career that she said she lost out to $420,000 because she fell and broke her nose. I'm sorry. Her modeling career. Okay?
Same thing happened to Jeff Flake.
Oh, yeah. He has a deviated septum.
At least.
Which is 5 miles long.
Then Swetnick talking about Kavanaugh's conduct on the night in question.
Did you actually meet him?
I did actually meet him. I remember meeting him because I remember he's got a very distinctive face, and as does Mark Judge. And I remember specifically meeting him, being introduced to him.
Okay, so there's her specific meeting. She doesn't provide any details of that. She just says, I remember, and Kate Snow didn't press her on that because she works for MSNBC. As Swetnick, then, of course, the salacious allegations explaining the gang rape and the trains.
Did you see Brett Kavanaugh, spiking the punch, putting green alcohol in the punch?
I saw him giving red Solo cups to quite a few girls during that time frame, and there was green punch at those parties. And I would not take one of those glasses from Brett Kavanaugh, excuse me. I saw him around the punch, I won't say bowls or the punch containers. I don't know what he did, but I saw him buy them, yes.
In her declaration, Swetnick also wrote, I also witnessed efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to cause girls to become inebriated and disoriented so they could then be gang raped in a side room or bedroom by a train of numerous boys. I have a firm recollection of seeing boys lined up outside rooms at many of these parties, waiting for their turn with a girl inside the room. These boys included Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh.
What did you see? It's very innocent. Well, until what happened to me, I didn't put two and two together. But I would see boys standing outside of rooms, congregated together, sort of like a gauntlet. And I didn't know what was occurring. But I would see them laughing, a lot of laughing.
Standing in line outside a room?
They would, not line, but definitely huddled by doors. And I didn't understand what it could possibly be.
And in your declaration, you describe Brett Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge standing outside, seeing them stand outside a door.
Yes, with other boys.
So you're suggesting that, in hindsight,
yes,
you think he was involved in this behavior?
I would say yes. It's just too coincidental.
Yeah. So we have Solo cups that may or may not have been passed out by Brett Kavanaugh, who she remembers meeting, and boys congregating, not in lines, in groups, outside of doors laughing. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Oh, it gets worse than she said he was pushing people into walls.
I saw him push girls against walls.
Oh, yeah.
He would pretend to stumble into them and knock them into a wall. He'd push his body against theirs. He would grope them.
But the money bite, the culmination of this interview where you flat out know this woman is a lying sack of you know what, and she's sick and twisted, and here it is.
I was at a party, and I remember that I started not to feel very well. And next thing I know, I was shoved into a room, and I'm having my clothes torn different directions. I was touched everywhere. I was physically assaulted in every way you could possibly physically assault a woman. It was horrible. I had no way to fend them off.
You know what I'm going to ask. Everyone is wondering if one of those people was Brett Kavanaugh.
I cannot specifically say that he was one of the ones who assaulted me, but before this happened to me at that party, I saw Brett Kavanaugh there, I saw Mark Judge there, and they were hanging about the area where I started to feel disoriented, and where the room was, and where the other boys were hanging out and laughing. I could hear them laughing and laughing. And it's very hard for me to talk about this, but it's important that somebody says something.
I mean, the bottom line is, was it him who assaulted you? No. But he was there. I mean, he was there. He was handing out Solo cups. He was at the party. She is a line sack of, you know what? Her attorney, Michael Avenatti, should get his law license yanked because he's a disgrace.
Yeah, it's also important. I mean, I will give the Iowa football player's wife, what's her name? Kate Snow. Give her some credit. She actually did do a fact check because Swetnick provided some names for her to check out in terms of corroborating her story about the party. And this is what Kate Snow found.
Yes, there are people that know about those parties.
This morning, Swetnick provided 4 names of friends she says went to the parties with her. One of them said he does not recall a Julie Swetnick. Another of the friends she named is deceased. We've reached out to the other 2 and haven't heard back. Swetnick says after the alleged attack on her when she was 19, she never returned to those big house parties.
Okay. So we got the Solo cups and we got the boys congregating. Brett Kavanaugh may or may not have been one of them, may or may not have been congregating at a party that may or may not happen.
But the bottom line, he didn't touch her.
Well,
he didn't rape her.
She doesn't know.
Well, she said she couldn't. She
doesn't know.
I don't know.
Right. She doesn't know anything. She knows this party happened. This is what she alleges, which she knows there were Solo cups. She knows there was spiked punch. She knows that boys were trying to inebriate girls. Like how exactly? Like, would you like a drink? And she knows that those same boys that were handing out drinks were congregating around doors. Real bombshell.
This is why the FBI is ignoring her and not even interviewing her.
Greg in LaGrange, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, morning, guys.
Morning.
One question I didn't hear from Kate Snow is why, if she was subject to this physical violence and sexual assault, she never pressed charges.
Yeah, good question.
I guess there's no more due process, is there?
No.
Good question. Thanks for the call, Greg. I mean, this is a question that should be put to Miss Ford as well. I mean, now, I understand traumatized after the alleged incident is potentially what you'd say. I mean, now. You're not too traumatized to testify before Congress, so why would you be too traumatized to file a police report now? Again, no statute of limitations in Montgomery County, Maryland. When does the police report get filed? Ed in Oak Brook here in Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what? I just want to scream because this is such crap. I don't know how any responsible channel could even put this on, but she mentions red cups, red Solo cups, Dan. She mentions green punch. But she only mentions 2 names, Mark Judge and Judge Kavanaugh. She doesn't mention anyone else at these parties, but yet there was people all over the place. Who did she go with? Why did she stay there if this was such a rowdy type affair? This lady is so full of crap. And you know what? I hope they charge her with something for bringing this kind of crap to the American airwaves. And I hope the FBI investigates that for false, I don't know what to even call it anymore. I'm just lost for words anymore. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Ed.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Why should I pay the same amount for a compact parking space as I do for a regular space, right? What kind of lot doesn't reward me for selflessly buying a smaller car to provide more parking room for others?
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." That seems like a timeless bit of common sense advice.
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI Resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and I've been raving about MyPillow for years now, but I know a lot of our listeners still aren't sleeping on a MyPillow. Well, even if you sleep well on a different pillow, I recommend you try sleeping on a MyPillow. That's because you can actually move the fill to get the support you need, regardless of your sleep position. And like I've told you, I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for the buy one, get one free deal on premium MyPillows. One for you and the other for a loved one or as a holiday gift. You'll still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, pet beds that my dog Bunky loves, luxury Giza cotton sheets, and more if you use the promo code AMY. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code AMY.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The ABA restates its position. The ACLU doubles down against Kavanaugh. And the Democrats move the goalposts at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 60 degrees. The White House is giving the go-ahead to the FBI to expand its investigation into the sexual misconduct allegations against Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh. The expansion comes with a major condition. The review must be finished by the end of the week. President Trump offering his thoughts and prayers on the one-year anniversary of the deadly shooting massacre in Las Vegas.
That was a horrible, horrible time in the life of our country.
During a Rose Garden event yesterday, the president said the entire nation still grieves. 58 were killed in that mass shooting. 3 scientists from the United States, France, and Canada have been awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics in advances in lasers. The awarding of the Nobel Prize to Donna Strickland of Canada ends a drought for women winning any of the prestigious prizes. Strickland is the first woman to be named a Nobel laureate since 2015. She is also only the third to have won a physics prize. The first, Marie Curie in 1903. The death toll from the earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia is now over 1,200. People in the tourist city of Palau are becoming more desperate this morning. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy is promising a vote to legalize marijuana could happen in that state within weeks. Mazda says all vehicles it makes by 2030 will have some kind of electric power, but only about 5% running completely off batteries. No one is in custody after a man was shot and killed near the lakefront on Chicago's north side. Police say the shooting happened last night while the victim was walking on the Loyola Park bike path near Lunt Avenue. Chicago police have not released his identity. The murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke resumes today following a day off. The trial delayed just one day because of a sick juror. Some Purdue University Northwest students are angry this morning that these schools' diplomas are being changed. Changed to specify that they graduated from a Purdue satellite campus. The Hammond campus's diplomas have historically included a bold header in black and gold reading Purdue University. School officials are announcing that starting in May of 2019, diplomas will all read Purdue University Northwest. Chicago sports, Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun singled in runs in the 8th. Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1 in that tie-breaking National League Central clincher, 3-1. Cubs now host the Rockies in the National League wild card game tonight. Cubs third baseman Chris Bryant says they are now in a must-win situation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to win or you're going home. So, sometimes, it's good to kind of, experience that and see what this group is really made of, because I think that, we're a group that can handle that. So, hopefully go out there and show what we're made of tomorrow.
John Lester takes the mound for the Northsiders against Kyle Freeland. 5:34. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is blown away by what he's seeing from the left.
We're going to get down and dirty here and talk about the actual alleged exposure. She doesn't know that it's Kavanaugh who exposed himself. Everybody at the party says it didn't happen. Everybody that the New York Times chased down said it didn't happen. Everybody at the Washington Post. I mean, honest to goodness, I'm lost. I've never, ever seen such tactics.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's a fact. Workman's compensation is a mandated and burdensome expense for businesses. You've heard business owners on this station discuss the impact of workers' comp on their bottom line. This burden continues to grow every year. It's important that your company identify the risks you face and do everything possible to minimize your exposure and expense. For over 3 decades, Marty Spiegel and Miles Cahill, recent AM 560 Food for the Poor business benefactors, have effectively defended workers' comp cases on behalf of businesses and insurance companies in both Illinois and Indiana. All of the attorneys at Spiegel and Cahill understand and are sympathetic to the real burden your company faces. They excel at helping you identify and minimize your risks. The Spiegel-Cahill team is committed to being responsive and managing all of your workers' comp costs. To learn more or request a no-obligation workman's comp consultation, call Spiegel and Cahill at 630-455-4070, 630-455-4070, or visit defendingbusinesses.com. That's defendingbusinesses.com.
You wouldn't put a square peg in a round hole, so why would you deploy a traditional firewall in a modern decentralized network? Firewalls have new requirements for businesses leveraging SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
5:36, a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On the inbound Kennedy Expressway, traffic's heavy 190 to Cumberland. There's some rain in the area. 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown up on 20. Eden's good at this hour. On Eisenhower, getting some congestion east of 25th Avenue. Inbound Stevenson, we're seeing delays. Harlem to Pulaski and Damon to the Ryan. 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Up on 34. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, just a little heavy approach to emerge after overnight work cleared. Van Bishop 4 delays start at 115th. 24 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Tollways are okay. The roads are wet this morning. No delays to report on I-80 or in northwest Indiana. There's high water on the southwest side, Blue Island Avenue, western. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, 70 today. Cloudy, mild, 62 overnight. And we may hit the 80s tomorrow, but heavy thunderstorms could strike late tomorrow afternoon. And then tomorrow night, a low of 62, currently 60. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Does the left speak for the marginalized? Is that what the Me Too movement represents? The left speaking for marginalized people in this country? Is that what the ACLU is doing? Speaking for the marginalized? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The ACLU is out with a $1 million campaign, ad campaign, in swing states, meaning Democrats in red states. Mm-hmm. And here's an example of the ad that's running in Colorado targeting Cory Gardner.
We've seen this before. Denials from powerful men.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I've never seen anything like this.
I categorically and unequivocally deny the allegation against me by Dr. Ford.
America is watching. And as we choose a lifetime seat on our highest court, integrity matters, and we cannot have any doubt. Senator Gardner, oppose the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh.
The ACLU, Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, Brett Kavanaugh, same sentence. Oh. It's interesting. Dershowitz, our friend Alan Dershowitz, has been very critical of the ACLU, to which he is a longtime supporter. The ACLU kind of thrown out the window the rule of law, the Constitution, due process, freedom of speech, all in the name of prosecuting their and the left's war against President Trump and his administration. And so now do we see the same thing the ACLU is doing here? It's interesting to note as well, the ABA, big story over the weekend, that the ABA rescinded essentially its rating of Brett Kavanaugh's highly qualified. They clarified that yesterday, saying that his rating as highly qualified has not changed. The evaluation has not changed. The committee conducts nonpartisan, non-ideological, and confidential peer review of federal judicial nominees. The ABA's rating for Judge Kavanaugh is not affected by this letter that was written by one member of the committee who was sort of essentially speaking out of turn. Now, the ABA is also a left-wing front group.
Yeah.
I mean, they're terrible. But it's just worth noting, in terms of highly qualified, that hasn't changed. But that question I asked, because that's what rich white liberals would have you believe. They're the vanguard for the marginalized. And the Me Too movement is an example of that, right? Isn't that what the Women's March was as well? You know, all your rich left-wing friends in Lakeview putting on their pea hats.
Heading to Washington, D.C.
By the way,
We're taking it to the streets, Dan.
they should dust them off January 19th, 10 a.m. It's been set
Oh,
for next year.
Oh, the Women's March on D.C.?
Yeah.
January what?
January 19th, right there's 10 a.m. sharp, so Ashley Judd will be bringing her bloody jeans, your friends with their pea hats, Madonna with her assassination threats.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be a rollicking good time. Linda Sarsour, of course, one of the organizers, will bring a healthy dose of anti-Semitism, which all those rich Jewish ladies must really enjoy. Apparently they do. Remarkable. I asked the question about marginalized and who pretends to speak for whom and who actually does. So you see what's happening with elites that, I don't know, show up as guests of Dianne Feinstein at a confirmation hearing.
Oh, you mean Alyssa Milano?
I do.
With her little bun.
Our friend Bob Woodson, civil rights leader, Woodson Center, conservative. Read a piece from him last week that he penned for The Hill, talking about his experiences in the workplace. One where he came to the defense of a woman who was being mistreated by, I mean, in terms of like her professional development. She was having an affair with a married man in the office. She wanted to break it off, and he was punishing her professionally for doing so, right? So then he came to her defense. And on the flip side, he was wrongly accused, and the think tank he was working for at the time wanted to settle it. He said, absolutely not. We're not going that way. The response to the attorney for the woman accuser's demand letter was, we're not settling, and the complaint went away. Bob Woodson, a great piece in The Hill, how the elite hijacked the Me Too movement. In today's outrage culture, this bias is common. The degree of outrage depends on the nature of the violation, but on the identity of the victim. On the rare occasions when police shoot civilians, there's outrage only when the victim is black, armed, or unarmed. When a sex crime is involved, the Me Too movement mainly ignites when the victim is white, a celebrity, or a well-educated, credentialed professional. But what about the women who don't have these upper-class credentials? Who are they, and what do we know of their circumstances? He recounts, of course, Illinois, because you can't talk about scumbag sexual predators in public office without talking about Illinois. Gus Savage, the infamous Gus Savage. In an official visit to Zaire in 1989, Gus Savage was accused of trying to sexually assault a 21-year-old black female Peace Corps worker assigned to brief Savage on the group's activities there. Was there ever a more Dickensian-named congressman than Gus Savage? When she lodged an official complaint with her superiors, the congressman denied her claim. He was censured by Congress but was reelected to a seat, of course, with Democrats rallying for him. The name of the young woman was not made public, but her attorney relayed to me, writes Woodson, that she feared retaliation from Savage's supporters and as a result was prevented from visiting her parents who lived in Savage's district. No public outcry for this from the women's movement for this injustice. And in 1993, of course, Gus Savage defeated by Mel Reynolds. Boy, the hits keep on coming, huh? And then, of course, Jesse Jackson Reynolds. After him. We don't even get to Junior. And then Mel Reynolds, of course, found guilty of having sex with a 16-year-old, also black girl, sentenced to prison.
And now tax evasion.
Well, right, but Clinton commuted Reynolds' sentence.
Right, because they're both Rhodes Scholars.
That's not why. And because, and then he went to work for Jesse Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where was the outrage then? In 1998, NBC aired a primetime special, Women in Prison, Nowhere to Hide, hosted by Jerry Rivers, Geraldo Rivera. on the sexual assault of women in the Michigan prison system. Woodson writes, the detailed testimony about daily rapes of black women by male guards and their supervisors was heart-wrenching, at times beyond description in its brutality. Where was the outrage then? Tarana Burke, who is the black female activist from Harlem who actually originated the Me Too movement, began in 2006, 10 years after Burke bonded with a young girl at a youth camp. The girl revealed she had been sexually assaulted by her mother's boyfriend, and Burke took steps to help the community take action to protect such children, since there were no rape crisis centers nor any aid for sexual assault victims in the community in Harlem. Burke was clear about the goal and purpose of the Me Too movement, quote, to aid underprivileged women of color affected by sexual abuse. Is that the movement now? Woodson suggests the movement has been hijacked by the, bait and switch game of the elites after all of the allegations against Harvey Weinstein. That's who we're supposed to care about, is the celebrities and celebutants that were assaulted by Harvey Weinstein. And we can care for them too, be concerned about what happened to them as well. But Woodson's saying, what about the original focus of the mission? And what about the underprivileged? Bob Woodson spent his life advocating on behalf of the poor, regardless of color. The truly underprivileged, the truly marginalized, not the phony baloney marginalized that the left trots out, because you can see yourself in that Palo Alto academic. The needs of women living in trailer parks, trapped in crime-ridden and drug-infested urban neighborhoods, languishing in our foster care prison systems, will continue to be ignored by Me Too. These women reside in the not you hashtag, isolated areas of the country, out of sight and out of mind. And then he actually solicits stories from women who count themselves among the not you. Very much, this is very much like a J.D. Vance's Hillbilly Elegy during the Trump campaign, and how, spoke to the sort of the forgotten Americans, to borrow Amity Schle's formulation as well. The forgotten Americans, the hillbillies, the discarded, they're not interesting. White trash, not interesting. Urban youth in poverty-stricken areas, in shooting galleries like the west and south side of Chicago, well, that'll get some media coverage. Appalachia, not so much. This is such a great piece by Woodson, and it's a reminder, the Me Too movement, just like we should remind people of the left's ever-evolving, changing, regressing opinions on matters depending on the identity of the alleged perpetrator and the identity of the victim. MoveOn.org. You know where the name comes from?
No.
The Soros-funded organization that's been prosecuting the Kavanaugh campaign, one of the many. Founded 20 years ago. Move on, Congress, from the Bill Clinton allegations.
Oh, really?
It was move on already. Move on. Censure him and move on. With get off this impeachment business. Move on. MoveOn.org. It's interesting to understand the history, because you see how things are bastardized or become caricatures of themselves. Eddie in Milwaukee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. I haven't voted since 1992. The last person I voted for was Ross Perot, and I vowed I'd never vote again. But after what they've been doing to Kavanaugh, I'm going to register this November. I'm going to vote for every single Republican I can find. I don't care, black, white, Hispanic, male, female. I don't care what they look like, what they stand for. If they got an R, they get my vote.
Good, because Scott Walker and Leah Vukmir need your vote up there. Thanks for the call, Eddie. Appreciate it. Tom in Deer Park.
Oh, hi, good morning. You were talking about the district where Gus Savage represented or misrepresented, and then Mel Reynolds, and then Jesse Jackson Jr. It spurred the memory of something.
Really.
I'm sorry?
No,
I said it was a great congressional seat. I mean, it's just,
yeah, it's like the 27 Yankees. Quite a lineup there. Yeah.
Well, the hits just keep coming now. It's represented by Robin Kelly, who I don't think has any of the issues that those guys did. But as soon as she announced running for office, she got endorsed by the usuals, Bobby Rush, Jan Schakowsky. then got $2 million in TV ads from Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who is probably the biggest anti-Second Amendment advocate in this country. And she got $2 million in ads from him because she was against the NRA. So that's what she's doing down there right now. And you mentioned the ACLU. It all ties in.
Have you ever had a conversation with Robin Kelly?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Tom.
Did you learn anything when you had a conversation with Robin Kelly?
She had a golf outing at Olympia Fields the same day I hosted a golf outing for this nonprofit I'm on the board of.
Mm-hmm. So you had the front 18 and she had the back?
Well, there's two courses. There's
Okay.
2 18s. So they had the south, we had the north. They're both great courses, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Which one do you find more challenging?
Maybe someday you'll be invited to play there. Maybe.
I'm still waiting. It's October. There's still time.
Yeah.
So how did it go?
I remarked to her that it's like everybody on my side of the course is paying for the lives of everybody on your side of the course. Isn't that interesting?
You said that to her?
Yeah, because it was all lobbyists and, the creatures from, this was like an expensive golf outing. So was ours, right? It's all the Beltway insiders and their local representatives that are, flacks for other politicians who can write a check out of their campaign account that are feather bedding Robin Kelly's campaign account. All the tax eaters and then all the producers who are at a philanthropic golf outing.
Right.
It's just, it was a tale of two worlds, a tale of two paths, a tale of Illinois, just on that one day at Olympia Fields. Gus Savage not invited.
Oh.
Because he's dead and because he's a scumbag. Mel Reynolds not invited.
Not invited because he's in jail, right?
And I believe
he went back to the clank.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, and when he gets out.
Or did he escape to go back to Africa?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he and
got some cougar hands.
I don't know if he and Mugabe or other sub-Saharan African dictators have made up yet. We'll have to keep track of that.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this program. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series this week featuring Scott the Cow Guy, Scott Shalady, a Fox Business contributor. We talk trade policy, GDP growth, housing bubble, all of the important issues, macro and microeconomic, that impact your quality of life. So check out what Scott has to say about the next year and a half leading into Trump's 2020 reelection. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. It's where you get a free property tax report on your home. You just type in your address, pretty simple. And also you get updated home sales and property tax info in for your community. So see what the highest property taxes in the nation are doing to home values. See where your property taxes are going and the opportunity cost you're paying by paying them here rather than, say, in Indiana. All the property tax home sale info at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
If you own or run a business, here's some valuable information. Right now, it's a buyer's market for business and commercial insurance. This is Jim Solkowski of DSP Insurance Services in Schaumburg. It's a really good time to take a look at all your business insurance products. We handle it all with specialists in every field. With our new clients, we review all your products every 90 days. Why? Insurance products change constantly. Do you have the most competitive program? Has your business changed and you need to adjust your policies? Have rules and regulations changed? We even use a legal team to help with compliance. DSP is all about being your insurance partner, the one looking out for you and your business. DSP partners with Westfield Insurance and several other insurance carriers to protect your interests. Here's a common theme we hear from our customers.
For business insurance, DSP for me.
Business insurance? DSP for me.
Get the contact information at dspforme.com. Let's review your business insurance to make sure you're protected. dspforme.com.
The last time you tried to set up for a presentation, it was a disaster. Your coworkers were embarrassed, and your clients had a look on their faces like they'd rather be anywhere else. It could have gone so much smoother with a conference room designed and installed by Midwest Computer Products. You spend precious time creating the perfect presentation, only to have it all blow up because your audio-visual equipment is outdated and not compatible with current technology. Partner with Midwest Computer Products for a space that dazzles your clients and employees and saves you the constant headache of keeping up with technology. Whether you're reimagining your corporate conference rooms, creating a huddle space, or implementing a video conferencing initiative, Midwest Computer Products is ready to help your business become state-of-the-art. And for a limited time, Midwest Computer Products is offering free design and consultation service when you upgrade your conference room. Get a quote today and see all that Midwest Computer Products can do for your business at MidwestComputer.com. That's MidwestComputer.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are customers passing you by because it's a major hassle to park in your lot? Convenient and safe parking may be one of the most overlooked aspects of your business. You've neglected your parking lot for way too many years. It's falling apart and could be scaring business away. Pavement Solutions can get your parking lot in shape. With proper care, you can extend the life of your current lot with Pavement Solutions' certified specialty blend product called GemSeal, Black Diamond, and Duramax. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but the best seal coat product in the industry. It'll protect your lot from sub-zero temperatures to a scorching 110-degree sun and features an abrasive, non-slip coat for safety and durability. With Enduramax, your lot will have that brand new feel and look at a fraction of the price of a new lot. You and your customers will be safe, and your business will look great. For parking lot repairs to snow removal, go to fixmylots.org. That's fixmylots.org. And get a free estimate. Plus, learn about getting 5% off your next job from Pavement Solutions.
Al Kovac Jr., Navy veteran, Paralyzed Veterans of America.
You fought the good fight and served your country with valor. Now it's our turn to fight for you.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Marine Corps veteran, Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We help you secure full benefits, quality health care, and job opportunities.
To learn more, visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
President Trump keeps defending his Supreme Court nominee. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
They've been trying to destroy him since the very first second he was announced.
And the president told supporters at that rally in Johnson City, Tennessee last night, Democrats will destroy anyone, including Brett Kavanaugh, to get their way. This as the FBI investigation keeps going into sexual misconduct allegations Kavanaugh denies. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Senate Democrats want 24 people interviewed in an expanded FBI probe into allegations against Judge Kavanaugh. Democrat Richard Blumenthal sits on the Judiciary Committee.
Anything short of a full, fair investigation will be a sham.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is vowing that Republicans will start voting on Judge Kavanaugh this week.
This is a nomination that deserves to move forward, and that is precisely, Mr. President, what is happening.
The FBI has questioned at least 4 people about the accusations against Kavanaugh. Dave.
Richard, they found a lot more bodies in the earthquake and tsunami devastation on that Indonesian island hit on Friday. It's now more than 1,200 people dead. 800 others have severe injuries, and more are feared missing. Tens of thousands of homes are damaged, and some areas haven't even gotten help from the government there yet. Another clash between the U.S. and China. This time at sea. The U.S. Navy says a Chinese destroyer came so close to an American ship on Sunday, the USS Decatur had to quickly maneuver to avoid a collision. In Las Vegas, the lights dimmed on the Strip last night, exactly a year after the shooting spree.
It's about the 58 souls, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, children, who were lost that night.
Mayor Carolyn Goodman, they dedicated a memorial garden with a tree for each victim, and hundreds of survivors formed a human chain around the scene of the shooting. Some workers at Amazon are getting a raise. The giant online retailer is going to increase its minimum wage in the U.S. to $15 an hour. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy. We've had rain showers overnight. 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. No one is in custody after a man was shot and killed along the lakefront on Chicago's north side. Police say the shooting happened overnight while the victim was walking on the Loyola Park bike path near Lunt Avenue. An identity has not yet been released. A young child among 3 killed in a crash that left 3 others hurt on Chicago's south side. Police officers began following a speeding car last night and then disengaged in that pursuit. Later, that vehicle slammed into another vehicle near 69th and Loomis, the impact causing the vehicle to collide with 2 others who were safely stopped at the intersection. A young boy and 2 adults were killed, while a 2-year-old girl and 2 other adults are hospitalized in stable condition. We expect the murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke to resume later today following a day off. Trial postponed yesterday because of a sick juror. Jesus Chuy Garcia will not run for mayor of Chicago. The Cook County Commissioner made that announcement yesterday, citing the fact that he's already on the ballot for a U.S. House race as a key factor. The other unsaid factor, most of his campaign cash to run for mayor against Rahm Emanuel came from the Chicago Teachers Union and the SEIU, and they are backing another last-second entrant, this time Tony Preckwinkle. Illinois gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker accused of taking part in a scam defrauding Cook County taxpayers. The billionaire responded yesterday to a county inspector general report that shows he improperly received more than $330,000 in property tax breaks and refunds on one of his homes on Chicago's Gold Coast.
There are clearly flaws in the system that people go through, but we sought it with all the rules in place. We knew what the rules were. We followed the rules.
But it was Pritzker's wife who asked the contractor to remove the mansion's toilets. According to the scheme, the home was then deemed uninhabitable and reassessed at a much lower value. Chicago sports, Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun singled in runs in the 8th inning. Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1 in a tiebreaker game at Wrigley Field. Cubs will now host the Rockies in the National League wildcard game tonight. Cubs third baseman Chris Bryant says it is a must-win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to win or you're going home. Sometimes, it's good to kind of, experience that and see what this group is really made of, because I think that, we're a group that can handle that. So, hopefully go out there and show what we're made of tomorrow.
John Lester on the mound for the Northsiders. The news service of Compassion International sponsoring a child with compassion, the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. 6:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees a shaky foundation.
Now that there's irrefutable and incontrovertible evidence that it's the highest-ranking members of the FBI and DOJ that are involved in nefarious activities and abuse of power to prevent one person from becoming president, the house of cards is beginning to tumble.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com.
There's nothing small about your business. Your passion, your hours, your reputation, it's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
The T.J. Martell Foundation, music's promise for a cure. To learn more, visit tjmartell.org. That's tjmartell.org.
6:08 and a check of your morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's southwest side, Blue Island Avenue is closed southbound Claremont Western. Flooding under the viaducts there. Eden's Expressway is heavy eastbound on the spur, the Tri-State to Waukegan Road. Inbound Eden's itself getting a little congested approaching the junction. Mount Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, scattered delays. Outbound 21. On Eisenhower, delays start at Wolf, 40 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95 to downtown, outbound 18. I-57, 20 minutes, 90 to the merge, Vision 428. Northbound Tri-State, heavy from the Reagan Tollway to past the Eisenhower. 8094 westbound near Ripley, stall the right lane. It's traffic, I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly cloudy day, high 67. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 62. Tomorrow breezy with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour in the morning, up to 35 miles per hour for the afternoon. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun, high 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, 62 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retirement Zone Radio and the North Shore Capital Group, empowering you Saturday afternoons at 4.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Mitch McConnell yesterday took to the Senate floor. He is the Senate Majority Leader, don't you know?
Yes, he is.
And he confirmed that there will be a confirmation vote this week.
Their goalposts keep shifting, but their goal hasn't moved an inch, not an inch. The goal's been the same all along. And so let me make it very clear. The time for endless delay and obstruction has come to a close. Judge Kavanaugh's nomination is out of committee. We're considering it here on the floor, and Mr. President, we'll be voting this week.
All right, so this is going to come to an end one way or the other. It seems Mitch McConnell is intent, and
yeah, but isn't that bad that he's making up his mind before the FBI has released their report? Shouldn't he be more open-minded? I mean, we ripped down the Democrats for doing that. They knew who they were going to vote for before the hearing began.
No, I'm sorry. He's calling a vote. The
a
FBI report is to be done by the end of the week, so the
Right.
vote could come this weekend. So read the report and vote.
All right.
How's that making up your mind? How's it making up your mind? Every single Democrat, as McConnell pointed out in his remarks, starting with Chuck Schumer, their leader, Pagliacci, said as soon as Kavanaugh was nominated, before any of the allegations, he will do everything in his power, Schumer will, to stop Kavanaugh's confirmation. So I love the idea that there's some guesswork here in terms of how people are going to vote. Golly, Chris Coons, on the one hand, I could identify with Kavanaugh. On the other hand, I think he was a little bit sharp where he shouldn't have been to my colleagues. Yeah, Chris Coons' vote is very much in doubt, isn't it? No. Cory Booker, Kamala Harris.
All right. I mean, the things that are in doubt, Flake, Collins, and Murkowski, and Jeff Flake was at an event last night.
We certainly want the FBI to do a real investigation, and we are working to make sure that happens. It does no good to have an investigation that just gives us more cover.
And I feel like the investigation now is shifting not toward sexual assault or groping or whatever, sexual abuse, but more towards, did he black out in high school? Did he black out
Yeah, it's
in
about
college?
drinking now.
It's all about drinking and the drinky drink. And his friend, Chad Ludington, one of his Yale roommates, said classmates, whatever, said that he...
No, there's a difference.
So it's not a roommate. This is a classmate. Okay, yeah, you're right. Had this to say.
He testified that he did drink and wasn't proud of everything.
He did, but he also downplayed to a great degree the possibility that he could ever not know what was going on.
So you're saying there were omissions?
I'm saying there were omissions. There were certainly many times when he could not remember what was going on.
What?
I mean, honestly, and let's go into Chad Ludington's history with the bottle at Yale and everywhere else. Give me specific incidents. And should we even be talking about this in the first place?
Well, Ludington saw his testimony and decided to insert himself.
Yeah, I know he
contacted the FBI, and he met with them in their North Carolina
I know.
office.
He wants to be somebody. Kavanaugh's roommate, Dan Murphy, I never saw Brett black out or not be able to remember the prior evening's events, nor did I ever see Brett act aggressive, hostile, or in a sexually aggressive manner to women. I mean, we could just go back and forth till rapture with this, because you have people that are being beaten out of the brush into the limelight, some because they're useful, others because they want their little time in the sun to make one statement or the other, and their motives, their interests, their recollection, their ability to provide details that can be corroborated. It's not even a question. We're just sitting here talking about whether Brett Kavanaugh was ever binge drunk at Yale. I mean, it is really absurd.
Himself. He
it is
perjured
absurd.
Himself when 312.
I know what they're saying. Yeah. I know what they're saying. The question is whether it's reductio ad absurdum. 312-642-5600, turkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turkey.pro text line.
What did you say? Reductio ad absurdum? I had that removed last week.
You should.
Near my abdomen.
Yeah, it's vestigial. So it's not gonna negatively impact your health, but there's no reason to carry it around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Brett Kavanaugh, I mean, he wasn't shy about his love for the Suds.
Did the word, Ralph, you used in your yearbook
I already answered the question. If you're,
did it relate to alcohol?
I like
you
beer.
Haven't answered that.
I like beer. I don't know if you like beer, Senator, or not. What do you like to drink?
Next one is
Senator. What do you like to drink?
That was my. I like beer. What do you like to drink? Be very honest.
Yeah, I right. I mean, how many times do we have to play Sheldon Whitehouse's, playing archaeologist with his yearbook and then talking about his drinking in New Haven? I mean,
it is.
Come on,
silly.
This is all you have? And wait a second. This is Me Too. He's a rapist. You're talking about women, and women's stories need to be heard, and women's stories need to be believed. Now you're not even talking about women at all.
No, now it's all about the Suds. All about the beer.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Some interesting polling out because this is, there's two things that are actually happening here that are the real concern of the politicians. And Brett Kavanaugh and Ms. Ford and the rest, they're just sort of bit players in this. The two things that are of actual concern, Roe v. Wade and the midterms.
Well, it always
That's
comes
it.
down.
That's it.
Yeah, but so they're trying to get him on something. And since there's no there with the ladies, of course they're trying to do that. President Trump.
Well, and on the polls.
Yes, on the polls.
On the polls, I mean, because the report was absent any corroborating evidence for Ford's allegations, Manchin was going to be a yes vote. Trump's in Wheeling, West Virginia on Saturday night. He makes the point that 58-28 West Virginians want Kavanaugh confirmed. In North Dakota, another pickup opportunity. Kevin Kramer, the Republican there, running against Heitkamp, recent poll has him up 10%, 51-41. He's virtually tied with Heitkamp, who's a female, Heidi Heitkamp, of course, virtually tied among females. 60% of likely voters in North Dakota support the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court. Only 27 were opposed. So you've got some red state senators that are in a bind. And if Jeff Flake doesn't get the okay from Chris Coons to vote yes, or Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski are faint of heart, you may have red state Democrat senators who put this nomination over the top.
And if it's a tie, of course, Mike Pence would be the tiebreaker.
Correct. Randy in Elkhorn.
Yeah, how do you manage to drink so much and still graduate number one in your class?
He's a functional alcoholic.
Because you play hard and you work hard.
Yeah.
And President Trump talked about the brouhaha.
I watched him. I was surprised at how vocal he was about the fact that he likes beer. And he's had a little bit of difficulty. I mean, he talked about things that happened when he drank. I mean, this is not a man that said that alcohol was that he was perfect with respect to alcohol. No, I thought he was actually, going back so many years, I thought he was excellent. The interesting thing is, though, nobody asked him about what's happened in the last 25, 30 years during his professional career, because there were no bad reports. There are bad reports on everybody in here. Most of the people sitting down there, bad, except for Mike Pence, by the way. And if we find one on him, then I think that'll be the greatest shock of all time.
True. Chip in St. Charles.
Yes, I saw Kavanaugh's kindergarten teacher came out yesterday and said that he pulled a little girl's pigtail when he was in kindergarten, and I don't know how we can have somebody like that on.
Right.
Or, he's abusing minors.
Thanks for the call, Chip. The sarcasm is received. David in McCook.
Hey, good morning, guys. You guys think Brett Kavanaugh has any regrets of all this, even having his name thrown in the middle of this?
Well,
no, he's in it to win it. I mean, he's not backing it down.
I don't know.
I know if I was Brett Kavanaugh, I would tell the self-righteous goody two-shoe Democrats to shove it up their rear ends.
Yeah, that's sort of what he did in a roundabout way on Thursday. Thanks for the call, David. Mike on the north side.
Good morning, kids. They're looking, this is a search and destroy mission. They're looking for any little thing, they're going to blow it out of proportion. We had presidents who said they smoked marijuana. None of these Democrats were jumping up and down saying get rid of them. And it came out over the weekend that this Blasey Ford on her Facebook page a year and a half ago posted that someone should accuse Neil Gorsuch of rape, and the accusations should continue until Trump is forced to appoint Merrick Garland. Now, if she is encouraging people to commit perjury, can we believe anything she says?
I haven't seen that Facebook post, but I'll check that out. All right, thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it.
And there's, rarely does President Trump have self-deprecating humor, but yesterday was a time when you talked about beer and how that's not one of his vices.
I'm not a drinker. I can honestly say I never had a beer in my life, okay?
Right.
It's one of my only good traits. I don't drink. Whenever they're looking for something good, I say, never had a glass of alcohol. I've never had alcohol. I've just, for whatever reason. Can you imagine if I had? What a mess I'd be. I'd be the world's worst.
Everything in moderation, Mr. President. I don't count that as a good trait.
I think it's fine. Well, his brother, he should just say, my brother Fred died from alcohol abuse, and that's why I don't drink, and I've never tried it.
Yeah, but...
What, you don't trust a man who doesn't drink? You don't trust the Mitt Romneys?
Sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless it's medical or like a familial thing, I get that. But I mean...
Religious?
Like at 21, I mean, as his brother Fred didn't have this drinking problem manifest itself at 21, did he? When Trump was 21?
No, when Trump was growing up, he saw his brother deteriorate.
Oh, it was.
He watched it over the years, and then eventually he died from it.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, because you want President Trump to drink, don't you? What I hear you saying is that you want him to have a nice cold draft, huh?
Well, I would say after a long day, listening to Cory Booker and Dick Blumenthal, I mean, I don't know how you don't say, boy, could I go for a tumbler of scotch? These people. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call. I find it interesting that Brett Kavanaugh gets no presumption of innocence, yet when it comes to Mrs. Ford's letter being released, Mrs. Feinstein and the rest of the Democrats are all demanding that they be presumed innocent. How dare you point a finger at me that this letter that was supposed to be kept confidential was released?
Yeah, right. I see what you're saying. All right. Thanks for the call, Dan. Yeah, I mean, speaking of the ne'er-do-wells on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Trump took them in turn yesterday at this press conference to announce the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, the USMCA.
USMCA?
Yeah, as it's
known.
known.
After 24 years, no more NAFTA, it's USMCA.
USMCA. We'll get to that. But Trump tackling each in turn, starting with Senator missing in action.
Look at some of these people asking the questions, okay? Look at Blumenthal. He lied about Vietnam. He didn't just say, hey, I went to Vietnam. No. For 15 years, he said he was a war hero. He fought in Da Nang province. We call him Da Nang Richard. Da Nang. That's his nickname. Da Nang. He never went to Vietnam.
Da Nang.
And he's up there saying, we need honesty and we need integrity. This guy lied when he was the Attorney General of Connecticut. He lied.
On Booker.
I mean, take a look at Cory Booker. He ran Newark, New Jersey into the ground. He was a horrible mayor. And he made statements that when he was in high school or college, what he was doing, he actually made the statements. And now he's talking about Judge Kavanaugh. And I could go through a whole list of them, okay?
Yeah, all right. How about DiFi? Continue going.
Yeah, go. She waited till we were closed. And then she probably leaked it, but, who am I to say? But she probably leaked it based on her very bad body language the other day. But more importantly, in a sense, for her to have waited that period of time, and now for you Democrats, and I guess I'm including you too, the media, right? I consider you a part of the Democrat Party.
That's great. That's my favorite line. Joe on 57.
Yes, hi. Everybody, they're making a big deal out of Kavanaugh's drinking, but they never made a big deal out of President Clinton when he was in college smoking marijuana and did not inhale it, or Barack Obama when he was in high school being a pot fiend and cokehead.
Yeah, that's right. How about how about Barack Obama's Choom Gang?
Yeah, when he's a state senator, he hit the peace pipe a number of times.
And then John Boehner, when he was Speaker of the House, and he was a drinker. And even Nancy Pelosi, when she was Speaker of the House, flying back and forth to California. Her bar tab was over $100,000 she stuck the taxpayers with bottles of booze.
Not to mention her addiction to plastic surgery. Thanks for the call, Joe. Good point.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1 Hour. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
You're covered
call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
If you are interested in refinancing your existing home or investment property, then you need to call Team Hochberg. George from Bucktown was so happy with his refinance. He wrote this review. Quote, I'm very pleased with the way my Team Hochberg loan officer, Anna Eckroth, and Team Hochberg helped me and my family secure a new mortgage within 2 weeks of signing the application. Everything was done in an efficient and professional manner, and I was thrilled Team Hochberg secured me an appraisal waiver, which saved me a lot of time and money. I was able to secure a lower rate, save a couple $100 a month. I'll definitely refer everybody I know to Anna and Team Hochberg. If you're refinancing your home or investment property and you would like your loan processed in the same professional manner as George, then call the Team Hochberg mortgage experts right now, 312-751-1333 for a free consultation, or simply visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I feel wonderful. I mean, a while ago, I was walking and my whole left side went tingly, and I don't know what happened. I've had the after effects of that in my hands and my legs, and I've noticed that since I've taken the fruits and veggies, I don't have that anymore. So that is one thing that I am very, very pleased with, is I don't feel any of that tingly sensation in my foot. It's like my nerves are getting healed or something. It's just wonderful. I love this. I'm very, very impressed with this product.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code CHICAGO.
Noted author, former chief medical correspondent, and Salonpas user Dr. Bob Arnott.
The human body has billions of pain receptors. Block those receptors with the anesthetics found in Salonpas Lidocaine Plus, and you'll have relief. Salonpas Lidocaine Plus contains 2 anesthetics, including the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. They numb aggravated nerves for effective, lasting relief. For relief, try what I use, Salonpas Lidocaine Plus.
In the silver box with the blue wave.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
Ann Peterson from West Chicago isn't getting her money's worth out of Springfield.
I don't believe that we're getting additional value for the additional taxes that we're paying.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. Politicians waste your money. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes. They've just gotten out of control.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Chicago mayoral candidate Paul Vallis joins us again. He's got a financial plan for the city.
Yeah.
He's the only candidate who does so far, so we'll see if it adds up at 6:36.
And someone familiar dropping out of the mayoral race will explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
59 degrees. Had gray skies overnight and rain showers. U.S. defense officials say a Navy ship had what they're calling an unsafe interaction with a Chinese warship over the weekend. Spokesperson for the U.S. Pacific Fleet says the USS Decatur was performing freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea Sunday when a Chinese destroyer conducted a series of increasingly aggressive maneuvers. President Trump isn't talking about a plan B in case of in case the Senate does not confirm Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
Let the Senate decide whatever they want to do is okay with me. And also the FBI.
The president telling reporters at the White House yesterday he continues to have an open mind. The woman accusing Brett Kavanaugh of being involved in targeting women for gang rape says Kavanaugh was at a party when she was sexually assaulted. Julie Swetnick telling NBC,
I saw Brett Kavanaugh there. I saw Mark Judge there. And they were hanging about the area where I started to feel disoriented.
Kavanaugh has strongly denied any allegation of sexual assault or serious misconduct. The death toll from the earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia is now over 1,200. The tsunami and earthquake struck the island of Sulawesi on Friday. This year's Nobel Prize in Physics being jointly awarded to an American physicist, Arthur Ashkin, and professors Donna Strickland of Canada and Gerard Mourou of France. No one in custody after a man was shot and killed along Chicago's lakefront on the Loyola bike path near Lunt Avenue. Murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke resumes today following an unscheduled day off. The trial postponed because of a sick juror. Two brothers have been charged in the death of a suburban Chicago grandfather whose body was found in a sewer 2 months after he was reported missing. Elijah and Tony Green were arrested over the weekend. Investigators determined one or both men choked that man to death. Both were charged with first-degree murder and ordered held yesterday without bond. Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun singled in runs in the 8th inning. Brewers over the Cubs 3-1 in the tie-breaking game for the National League Central title at Wrigley Field. Now the Cubs will host the Rockies in the National League wildcard game tonight. Bears outside linebacker Sam Acho done for the season with a torn pec muscle, and Blackhawk goalie Corey Crawford back at practice for the first time since February. The news service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America inviting you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicagoland Waterproofing and by Tom Mirabaldi, independent agent for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Senator Joe Donnelly has some strong words for companies that outsource jobs. Here's what Donnelly said.
It's wrong. It's unpatriotic. It's shameful, and it's un-American.
That's why it's so shocking that Donnelly's own family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. According to job postings, the Mexican factory where the Donnelly's business outsourced jobs paid employees just $3 per hour. As for Donnelly, he pocketed up to $80,000. That's on top of his $174,000 Senate salary, almost 3 times what the average Hoosier family earns. American jobs shipped to Mexico while Donnelly personally profits.
It's shameful, and it's un-American.
You're right, Joe. It is shameful, and it's time for Mexico Joe Donnelly to lose his job. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Megan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Eden's inbound delay start at Lake Avenue. It's 34 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 20. Kennedy, 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Eisenhower inbound delays start around Wolf. Looking at 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 37. Northbound I-55 delays start at Weber, and it's 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 30. Delays the northbound tri-state from the Reagan to at Lawrence. 80-94 westbound near Ripley. Stall blocking the right lane. Lakeshore Drive is jammed southbound Michigan Avenue to Chicago Avenue. That's due to construction. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy and 70 today. Partly cloudy, mild night ahead, low 62. Currently 59. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by the Townstone Financial Show, Saturday afternoons at 1. Nobody values your mortgage business like Townstone. Listen and call for the best advice.
See Heather McDonald, James O'Keefe, and Sheriff David Clark at Freedom Summit 2018. Get your tickets at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Turn our attention locally here, and that means a look at the Chicago mayor's race. Chuy Garcia gone.
Wait, on a very special Dan and Amy, remembering the mayoral candidacy of Chuy Garcia. How long did that last?
Flew by.
I mean, it went. If you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah, he's going to focus on that
The seat that
congressional
was handed
seat that was handed off to him by El Gallito.
Hey, any reaction from El Gallito? Because remember, he's like, I am determined to make him mayor.
So then I suppose El Gallito is stopping his petition circulation for Chuy. I don't know.
Oh, that was so.
The histrionics are fun. The theater is fun, isn't it? The financial position of the city, the actual city of Chicago,
Yeah.
not so fun.
What are the numbers?
Worst
How bad
governed,
is it?
worst governed city, worst governed big city in the country, and it's not close by every quality of life metric. And you can pretend that the entire city is the Mag Mile.
Yeah.
The entire city is a half a dozen wards. But as Paul Vallis rightly points out in this economic development plan of sorts that he put out yesterday, only about 15 to 20% of the city is thriving. And as I've said for years, and maybe nobody believes me except Paul Vallis, or at least is willing to admit to it as he did, you can't have 80% of the city burn down around you and pretend that the 20% in which you live is not going to be affected. It's folly and it's irresponsible. So for more on what Paul proposes, we're pleased to be joined by a Chicago mayoral candidate, former CPS superintendent, Paul Vallis. Paul, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Well, good morning. You summed up my introduction quite accurately. About 80% of the city is not growing. I think there's only strong, robust growth in about 5 or 6 wards and maybe 10 wards altogether. And for the balance, there's either no growth in terms of investment, major investment, but in many of the wards, they're in depression-like conditions. So the city can't this hurts the city in so many ways. It means that those people who pay taxes or pay high taxes are going to pay even higher taxes. It has an impact on crime. It has an impact on social disruption. I mean, all the ills. We're only as strong as our weakest neighborhood.
So your proposal is to sort of take advantage of the legislation at the federal level that was authored by Senators Cory Booker and Tim Scott, this kind of new opportunity/enterprise zone legislation. And you think you can take $1 billion in TIF funds from the city, and leverage that for $10 billion in private investment in some of Chicago's poorest neighborhoods. Splain, please.
Yes. Well, first of all, absolutely. As you know, in the Trump tax bill, there was a provision put in to provide massive incentives, tax incentives, to stimulate development in underdeveloped areas. And nationwide, there's 8,700 zones or geographic areas that have been designated. In Chicago, 133 have. Of course, designating is one thing. Actually mobilizing to secure the investment is another. And the tax incentives, in a nutshell, are you can, for all practical purposes, shelter your capital gains tax. You can avoid the capital gains tax by investing in the zones, and in any income you generate, any profit that you generate from that investment, you get to keep tax-free. So that's a huge stimulus. And the problem with poor communities in the city of Chicago is the lack of capital. I mean, you can create all the TIFs you want in those areas, but if there's no prospect for growth, because there's really no infusion of capital investment, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, but
so at the end of the day, what I'm
but just to hold there, because I mean the kind of the enterprise zone, opportunity zone. I know this federal provision makes it a little bit different and has a little bit more sense of urgency, and these are good times and all that jazz. But here's the thing: enterprise zones, opportunity zones, not exactly a new idea. And there's a little bit of cart before the horse with these proposals, it seems to me, from previous experience hearing these things out and seeing them attempt to be put into action, which is you can incentivize me all day long. I'm not investing money, even if it's free in terms of tax-free, and without any prospect of ROI, because you're telling me, or you're trying to incentivize me to invest money that in places that are unsafe, where there is no possibility for ROI.
Well, Dan, as you know, and I was on your show, I've been on your show a couple times when I've talked about other things that the city needs to do in terms of improving its schools, in terms of, I detailed in very specific terms what I would do to revitalize the police department. So, so we can spend an hour talking about this holistically or focus specifically on how you take advantage of these massive federal incentives that are available, because past enterprise zone programs were very light on incentives. They really didn't provide the type of incentives that would stimulate investment. And what I'm saying is there's 133 zones. Now, does that mean that that investors are going to invest in all those zones? No. But if they invest in half the zones, and if you have, instead of growth in 5 wards, you have a growth in 15 or 20 or 25 wards, that expands the economic base. That, as you have articulated time and time again, will generate kind of natural revenue growth without the type of revenue growth that's incurred when you're constantly raising taxes. So there are no other alternatives to develop these areas. And we're talking about areas that are covering probably about maybe a third of the city, because the opportunity zones geographically cover about a third of the city. And let me also point out what I'm talking about is the city diverting a portion of the TIF money. And as you know, the city diverts $660 million in property tax money for TIFs already. These are existing TIFs, and using it with investors to invest in the zones, and then allowing the city to be a equity investor. So what happens is if those areas grow, if that investment grows, the city not only gets reimbursed, but the city also gets to profit, particularly if those investments profit. And as you well know, right now, all they do with TIF money is just hand it out. $50 million to the Wintrust Arena, $40 million to a hotel that's converting to an apartment complex with no equity whatsoever.
And what about your plan for police and fire pension debt?
Well, on October 15th, Amy, on October 15th, I'm going to speak before the City Club, and I'm going to speak. I'm going to offer a very specific, comprehensive solutions to, in effect, address the issue of the city's financial crisis. And I'm going to talk about what needs to be done to get the pension debt under control and to address that issue, while at the same time, how to construct a budget that will not result in draconian property tax increases. And I'm going to do that well before the primary, and I'm going to do it on October 15th when I don't have to sit on a stage with 12 other people and have 60 seconds to answer very complicated questions.
So let's go back to this proposal that you've put forward. I've had this conversation with LaShawn Ford, West Side State Representative, and the mantra of the sort of politicians in Chicago on the West and South Side is Marshall Plan for the city, Marshall Plan for the city. And my point with Ford is, look, I'm willing to spend money on schools. I'm willing to spend money on social service providers. I'm willing to spend money to attract investment. But I'm not willing to spend it on models that have proven unsuccessful, that are government-centric. I want to see, and there are models in the city, social service space, K through 12 education space, Urban Prep Academy, Tim King's operation. I mention these all the time. That should be scaled. And I would say the same thing here about about entrepreneurship. Are there models that could be scaled so we're not doing the we'll underwrite a Whole Foods in Inglewood and call that economic development?
Listen, I agree. Creating a $10 million TIF for a Whole Foods in Inglewood is not economic development. The whole objective behind the opportunity zones, which is why it was in the Trump tax package, is to provide massive tax breaks to stimulate investment. The investors are still going to decide what they want to invest in. That means, are they going to invest in all the opportunity zones? The answer is no. They're going to invest where they think their investment can be most secure. The city, by becoming an investor with the private investors, they only enhance that investment, and they generate the possibility to raise even more money. And as you well know, there are other tax incentives available. There's the Workforce Opportunity Tax Credit. There are the EDGE tax programs. There's the Workforce Opportunity Innovation Act job training subsidies. So there are other federal incentives there that you can apply to make these investments even more to reduce the risk for these investments. So I'm not talking about the government just setting up a program where they're handing out money. I'm talking about the city working with private investors to take advantage of massive tax incentives. And in about 3 years, those tax incentives are going to be fading away. In other words, you got a 3-year window to take advantage of it. If anybody else out there has a better idea to develop these underdeveloped areas that are in need of capital, well, they've got to put up or shut up.
Well,
because there's nothing else out there. So I'm not going to say, I'm not going to take advantage of these incentives because it's in the Trump tax bill. I'll take advantage of any federal incentive out there is going to benefit our communities.
But Paul, as you know, being a guy who focuses on the structural things, the structural tax and regulatory environment matters. And so one thing that could be done, and this is for residents and business owners alike, but especially commercial, since commercial subsidizes residential in Chicago and Cook County, is property taxes. Make this a lower property tax environment, lower the barriers to entry in terms of tax and regulatory policy in the city.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's like housing. Let me give you an example if I have a second. It's like on housing. They talk about the need for affordable housing units in the city of Chicago, and there's a need. So we're going to go out and we're going to subsidize affordable housing. Well, and then they provide immense subsidies that don't generate much affordable housing. Well, if they just reduce the blocks, the restrictions on landlords' ability to convert their garden apartments to convert their garden units to garden apartments, they could generate 126,000 apartments, affordable apartments throughout the city. Isn't that affordable housing? And that wouldn't cost the city a dime. That would simply be changing the regulations around or modifying the regulations to stimulate economic development. When I present my plan on October 15th, I'm going to talk about reducing regulation, and I'm also going to talk about capping property taxes as part of an overall financial strategy for the city, because you're absolutely right. As long as we tax and regulate ourselves to death, that's going to stifle any sort of real long-term investment.
And would you promise not to raise our property taxes?
Well,
or you don't want to
anyone
George
would be
Bush
irresponsible.
yourself.
Anybody would be irresponsible for making that promise because we are statutorily mandated to fund their pensions. But let me say what I will promise.
Yes.
I will promise to cap our property taxes at the rate of inflation or 5%, whichever is less, because I think that is doable. And if people know that their property taxes are going to be capped and that they're not going to get these draconian reassessments and these big increases every year, both individuals and businesses, I think that'll make the city a more hospitable place for investors.
No, you misunderstood Amy, Paul. Amy just wants to make sure her property taxes don't increase. If you could just make sure her property taxes don't increase, then she's
problem,
fine.
Amy.
Give her the Luis Gutierrez treatment there. All right, he is Paul Vallas, candidate for mayor of the city of Chicago. The website with the details of the plan that we were discussing and a lot more is VallisForAllChicago.com. Paul, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks to you and your listeners. Have a great day.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. President Trump's U.S.-Canada trade deal gets rare praise from the Senate's top Democrat. Washington suing the state of California over net neutrality. Those stories next.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code SAVE20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our bestseller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair income. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code SAVE20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code SAVE20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com. Promo code SAVE20.
President Trump's trade breakthrough with Canada gaining praise from the Senate's top Democrat, Senator Chuck Schumer. Schumer saying the president deserves credit for replacing NAFTA with this new trade deal. Schumer said the president deserves praise as well for improving U.S.-Canada trade as long as the deal protects, quote, American workers and middle-class families, which was the president's objective from the very beginning. California Governor Jerry Brown approving a new net neutrality law for his state, drawing an immediate lawsuit from the federal government. The Department of Justice wants an immediate halt to the California legislation, citing only the federal government has the power to regulate net neutrality. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Your customers rely on hoists and cranes to do the heavy lifting at their companies. But when a hoist fails, your business can come to a halt. You need to be up and running with replacement parts or a new hoist fast. Call Cressel Power at 800-243-5432. ACO Material Handling Solutions has partnered with Cressel Power Equipment to create the fastest electric chain and wire rope hoist delivery in the business through the ACO Rapid Ship program at Cressel Power, keeping you stocked and running. Cressel also has the fastest delivery of genuine ACO replacement parts on the continent. They can deliver ACO lift chain and ACO right wire rope hoists as quick as same day. With Cressel Power, you don't have to stock any parts yourself. They stock thousands of different items and can get them to you the same day or overnight. Knowing the product line and offering technical support will put your mind at ease. Speak to a representative at Cressel Power. Call 800-243-5432. That's 800-243-5432.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Once again, the Senate has distinguished itself as the world's greatest deliberative body and vanguard of the Republic by putting high school yearbook committees across the country on notice. Dennis Miller's long-ago formulation of Congress as a bunch of mediocre intellects Earl-shibed into looking somewhat consequential has never been more clearly illustrated than by the current Senate Judiciary Committee. My question is for establishment Republicans who were bailed out by Brett Kavanaugh and Lindsey Graham. Two establishment Republicans recently mugged by the reality of the left themselves. Does the Shakespearean farce you witness clarify things for you? Do you now understand what you're up against? Will you now turn a deaf ear to the left's siren song? Do you now realize that whether it's the Supreme Court, Russian collusion, or tax cuts, the left entices you with talk of common ground only to carpet bomb you as soon as you step onto it? You should find it instructive when three former state attorneys general, Senators Harris, Blumenthal, and Whitehouse, discard the presumptions of the American justice system and thus the rule of law because they can. Now you should locate your backbones. You should define the stakes and bring the fight. Brett Kavanaugh picked up the first round. November 6th is on you.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's a great product. And the one thing I liked about it the most is that when you open the bottles, you can smell like the scent of the fruits and veggies. It's no genius thing to it. It's really just fruits and veggies, which everyone needs. And you guys kind of put it in a way where you can take it easy and you can get it, and it's natural, and that's what I like about it, you know? I like the product, and I've taken it, and it's definitely made me feel a lot better. You know, I'm a healthy person to begin with, but it's definitely good prevention, and it's definitely gives me energy, and I feel like it's a natural thing. I like it. I really do.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code CHICAGO.
For more than a half century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R, CPA.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
The moment your child was born, your life changed forever. A dream came true, but other dreams, like getting your master's degree, may have been put on hold. But it's not too late. Patricia is earning her MBA from the University of Illinois as part of the iMBA program, 100% online on Coursera.
After giving birth, it was really hard. I don't think I would be able to have finished any other program.
Coursera is your online path to master's degrees from acclaimed universities. Discover the degree right for you by texting PROUD to 250250. Applications available now.
Getting my MBA makes me feel empowered. I don't need to stop working. I don't need to stop being a mother. I don't need to stop having my life. And that is everything.
Find the degree right for you by texting PROUD to 250250. Coursera, your course to success. Text PROUD to 250250.
AM 560. The Answer.
So you're watching The Keepers. We are in the kind of repressed memory week.
There might be something to the repressed memory.
So you were watching The Keepers, this series about
who killed this
nun.
This nun.
It's an excellent series, and now you think you may be guilty of murder.
I'm not guilty of murder.
Oh.
I never thought I could have a suppressed memory, but it came back to me. I think there's something buried in my backyard. Not. We'll be right back. Well, not where I currently live, but where I was renting.
Did you watch Pet Sematary? Is that why you think something's buried in your backyard?
Well, I just because I'm very anal retentive about my lawn. And when I came home one
okay, Gran
night,
Torino.
No, I am. I always tell people to get off my lawn and off my front porch.
With
but
a
I
shotgun.
came home and there was about a 4x6 area that it seemed like a shallow grave had just been.
Sure. All right, boys, get the shovels. What's the address?
I can't say.
Is it where you live now, or is it a former?
I've stayed on the same street, but I've lived in 4 different places on the same street.
Mm-hmm. And it's on this street.
I live in the
Lakeview.
diner now.
It's in Lakeview, though.
Yes.
A former residence of yours in Lakeview, you believe now, after watching The Keepers, there may be a body buried in that backyard.
I'm going to have to contact authorities. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, it was a suppressed memory that is now.
All right, Mike Scott, you've got the exclusive on this one.
I do. Calling the authorities right now. Gray skies, and right now we have rain showers crossing the area. Other stories we're following this morning. U.S. Supreme Court declines to hear an appeal from Drew Peterson. Brewers meet the Cubs in that tie-breaking game, take the NL Central title. So the Cubs will face the Rockies in the NL Wild Card game. 70 degrees for a high temp today. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Amid all the FBI questions about Brett Kavanaugh, Democrats question his temperament. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Judge Kavanaugh harbors deep, deep partisan resentments. That's not the kind of justice we need on the Supreme Court.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Kavanaugh misled senators, berated some at last week's hearing.
Democrats are willing to do anything and to hurt anyone to get their way.
President Trump at a rally last night in Johnson City, Tennessee, as the FBI continues to investigate Kavanaugh. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, so far, the FBI has talked to 4 people in its probe and allegations against Judge Kavanaugh. Democrat Richard Blumenthal put out a list of people he once interviewed.
We are demanding that 23 separate individuals be interviewed.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says Republicans will start voting on Kavanaugh this week.
The time for endless delay and obstruction has come to a close.
4 senators remain undecided, including Republicans Jeff Flake, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski. Joe Manchin, a Democrat up for re-election in Red State, West Virginia, is also mulling the nomination over. Dave?
Rachel, 1 year ago, we were all waking up to a nightmare, that shooting spree in Las Vegas. Last night, they read all the names of the 58 people who were murdered, and the lights on the Vegas Strip were dimmed as hundreds of survivors formed a human chain around the site. Amazon is going to pay more workers more money. The online retail giant is going to raise its minimum wage to $15 an hour starting next month. For the second day in a row, an American wins the Nobel Prize.
American Arthur Ashkin sharing the Nobel Prize in Physics with scientists from France and Canada for advances in laser physics. Ashkin, who developed optical tweezers, which are basically light beams, which can grab tiny particles such as viruses without damaging them.
Fox's Lillian Wu. Ashkin's 96th, the oldest Nobel Prize winner ever. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Gray skies. We've had some rain showers across the area, some heavier flooding rain to the north. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. No one is in custody after a man was shot and killed near the lakefront on Chicago's north side. Police tell us that shooting happened last night while the victim was walking on the Loyola Park bike path near Lunt Avenue. He suffered a gunshot wound to the head. A young child among 3 killed in a crash that left 3 others hurt on Chicago's south side. Police tell us officers began following a speeding car last night and then disengaged that chase. Later on, it slammed into another vehicle near 69th and Loomis. That impact caused the vehicle to collide with 2 others stopped at the intersection. Jesus Chuy Garcia will not run for mayor of Chicago. Cook County Commissioner made the announcement yesterday, citing, of course, that he's already on the ballot in a run for U.S. House to replace retiring Congressman Luis Gutierrez. Hillary Clinton led her support to Illinois gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker yesterday. Meantime, Pritzker is accused of taking part in a scheme to defraud Cook County taxpayers of more than $330,000 in property tax breaks.
There are clearly flaws in the system that people go through, but we sought it with all the rules in place. We knew what the rules were. We followed the rules.
Pritzker received the refunds on his Gold Coast mansion after his wife asked a contractor to remove the mansion's toilets. The home was then deemed uninhabitable. Chicago sports. Cubs will host the Rockies in the National League wildcard game tonight after falling to the Brewers 3-1 yesterday. John Lester takes the mound for the Northsiders against Kyle Freeland, who told reporters they have to forget about a Dodger loss that put them in the game against the Cubs and be ready.
I'm sure it's going to help a lot of guys turn the page. Obviously, today sucked. I had a chance to win a division for the very first time in Rockies franchise history. Unable to do it, but we got to turn the page immediately, and we got to be focused on facing the Cubs and doing what we need to do to continue our playoffs.
So the Rockies and Red Hot Cubs in that NL wildcard game tonight. Milwaukee will host the winner of tonight's game in the NLDS. That will begin Thursday. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, supporting victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or visit mad.org, madd.org. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Don't miss Freedom Summit 2018 on Saturday, October 27th. Presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. This year, featuring headline speakers, former Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark and James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. Also appearing, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group of Bartlett and by Crumweedy Roofing and Exteriors.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies or TheraWorksRelief.com.
There's nothing small about your business. Your passion, your hours, your reputation, it's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Ryan Siebert, CEO of SG Homebuilders and a customer of Signature Bank. Over the last 10 years, my business pivoted multiple times to adjust to the fluctuations in the Chicago real estate market. Signature Bank's partnership with us and their ability to adapt to changes has allowed us to become a leading custom home builder. Signature Bank is a relationship-based business bank right here in Chicago, providing services and advice that address our unique situation, and they serve as a trusted consultant on what works best for my business. Signature Bank helped us build SG Homebuilders while we were busy building dream homes for our clients.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
7:07 and a check on your morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Northbound tri-state traffic is heavy in pockets from Cicero to the Hinsdale Oasis. It's jammed from Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. Adams and Reagan Tollways are okay for now. Northbound Veterans Memorial, heavy approaching Ogden. There's a crash south of Ogden blocking the left lane. Southbound 53, expect delays approaching Higgins due to construction. Edens is 36 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 48 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 23 from Montrose, 22 in the Express. Outbound 33 minutes to the airport. From Eisenhower, 52 minutes, 390 to downtown. 39 from Manheim. Outbound 37 to 390. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 42. Ryan is 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly cloudy, high 67. Tonight partly to mostly cloudy, low 62. Tomorrow will be breezy and warmer with a mix of clouds and sun, high getting up to 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Anybody on the left interested in the alleged conduct of Keith Ellison, the confirmed conduct of 2018 election cycle it girl of the left, Beto O'Rourke in Texas, the Democrat nominee for Senate against Ted Cruz?
I saw him with Willie Nelson over the weekend. He had a big fundraising concert.
That's right.
Who's got a name? Beto. What is that? Have you ever heard somebody with that name before?
It's not his Christian name, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, excuse. Common spelling.
Well,
Dan?
let's start with Keith Ellison.
Yeah.
Keith Ellison's been cleared. You want to talk about questions about the independence of an investigation?
Well, didn't the DNC, weren't they in charge of the investigation?
No, not the DNC. He's a deputy chairman of the DNC.
Right.
An attorney who's a partner at a Minnesota law firm where also the top lawyer for the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party resides, did the investigation. So Susan Ellingstad is the partner at this Minnesota law firm. Her partner is the top lawyer for Minnesota's Democrat Farmer Labor Party, Keith Ellison, the nominee for Attorney General of that party. Okay, but listen to this. Ready?
Okay.
Here's the conclusion. Remember, two women have alleged physical abuse at the hands of Keith Ellison. And we'll get to Karen Monahan, his ex-girlfriend.
Because she tweeted yesterday about that tape again.
So here's the statement in the report filed by Ms. Ellingstad, the attorney. An allegation standing alone is not necessarily sufficient to conclude that conduct occurred.
Oh.
You don't say.
Okay, keep going. Are we talking about Kavanaugh or are we talking about Keith Ellison?
Well, one standard applies to Keith Ellison, and that standard does not apply to Brett Kavanaugh by the same people.
All right.
The difference is, and so please take judicial notice of this, leftists who may be listening, and we have some. We apply the same standard here. And I've defended Keith Ellison in the face of these charges because of the inconsistency of Miss Monahan, his ex-girlfriend, but we'll get to that. Let me repeat Miss Ellingstad's statement. I'm quoting her.
Okay.
An allegation standing alone is not necessarily sufficient to conclude that conduct occurred, particularly where the accusing party declines to produce supporting evidence that she herself asserts exists. And I agree with that, even though I find Keith Ellison wholly objectionable. That doesn't mean I think he should wear the jacket for something that he didn't do. And I don't know what he did or didn't do, but there's a lot of questions about Karen Monahan, his ex-girlfriend, and this video that she and her son assert exists of Keith Ellison basically pushing her around.
So a reporter from the Daily Caller asked her again, why won't you release this alleged Ellison abuse video? And she tweeted, "You're not entitled to my pain and trauma. You are not entitled to see me getting dragged when my body is being exposed in more ways than one. This is my trauma. I dealt with the abuse. I have already shared more than I was originally comfortable with. Hashtag why I didn't report."
Well, okay, but the problem is that she's made a number of statements on the topic, including that the video didn't exist at all, that it was on a jump drive that was lost during a move or some such thing, or
and
lost
then
from a
her
storage locker.
Storage locker. And then now she has it, but she's not. You're not entitled to her pain, Dan. But I say if it's there, then and you want redemption, or you want him to pay for his sins, release the tape.
Or you don't have to release it. Even as
just give it to somebody.
Well, as this investigator points out, there's the opportunity for it to be viewed privately to substantiate the claim. She's the one who made the claim that a video existed. Then she made the claim that it didn't. Now she's making the claim that it does, but you're not entitled to it.
So they ended the investigation after they asked her again, hand her over the tape, and she said no.
So it doesn't exonerate Ellison, but it does say the claim is unsubstantiated, and so how do you move forward? Boy, if that's the standard that applies to Ellison, it's sort of curious why those same individuals rallying to the defense of Keith Ellison and setting the standard in his case, why they wouldn't apply the same standard to Brett Kavanaugh. Gosh, I wonder if there's something else afoot in the Kavanaugh matter politically that makes it different in their minds from Keith Ellison, and thus they're willing to destroy Brett Kavanaugh and everyone around him, his family included, in the name of politics and in contravention of this standard that they otherwise support when it is applied in the Ellison case, right? Karen Monahan has said it. Don't believe me. Karen Monahan has said it. Where are all my Democrat friends?
Yeah, she said, my party has failed me. You know, where are they when I need them? Well, they're not there.
312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Certainly just make sure that you pick up these stories and these remarkable statements that are being made in the context of these other cases and ask your liberal friends, like Amy does in Lakeview, to help us make sense of this. Just help me reconcile it. It's difficult. Beto O'Rourke, he's, again, the it girl for the Democrats this cycle, much like Barack Obama was in 2004.
And for those who've been living under a rock, Beto O'Rourke is running against Senator Ted Cruz.
Yeah. So he's had a pair of felony arrests in his mid to late 20s, including a reckless drunk driving incident, which he crashed a car and allegedly tried to flee from the scene. He's admitted, obviously, to the drunk driving. I mean, what can he do? It's a legal record.
Right.
And, said it was a mistake and apologized and so forth.
That's all right. Okay.
The Andy McCarthy writes about it in New York Post. The cases appear to have mysteriously disappeared without serious prosecution. O'Rourke continues to deny basic facts outlined in at least one police report with respect to the drunk driving incident, the issue of fleeing the scene. Also, O'Rourke was arrested for allegedly burglarizing a campus building at UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso.
Oh, I love that campus.
He claimed the incident was a college prank, but he wasn't a college student at the time.
Beto O'Rourke. What year was he at UTEP? So he was just living in El Paso, or he was there for the weekend and decided to steal something from UTEP?
In 2012, as a first-term state rep, a member of congressman, Beto O'Rourke skirted a 2012 law that barred members of Congress from profiting from IPOs of stock based on information not available to the public. O'Rourke pulled the old ignorance of the memo defense, didn't see the memo from the House Ethics Committee warning members to avoid such IPOs as Twitter, which was about to launch. He bought Twitter shares, quickly sold many of them as the stock rocketed higher in value. O'Rourke fessed up to the Ethics Committee that he engaged in several IPO trades. The congressman agreed to sell off IPO shares he was still holding and send the Treasury Department a check for what he said was the amount of his profits. And so the matter was dropped, and he was sorry again. I mean, is there any interest in his conduct as he runs for the United States Senate?
He's from El Paso, by the way, and he's a congressman from El Paso.
Yeah.
Well, just in case.
And so what about any interest in his case? Also, he's now apologizing. This is when the left cannibalizes their own. Apologizing for once criticizing a Broadway musical when he was 19 years old. This is how silly it is.
What?
He wrote a review of the Will Rogers Follies for the Columbia University Daily Spectator, the student newspaper.
Excuse me.
I mean, honestly.
What I sneeze, and this is when you say, God bless you, Gesundheit.
It was dramatic.
Well, it hurt. I had to get it out.
There was a Broadway quality sneeze.
I had jazz hands while I was doing it.
O'Rourke's review of the Will Rogers Follies?
Yes, sir.
Not the best musical, but he said one of the most glaring examples of the sickening excesses and moral degradations of our culture. Boy, that must have been some
musical.
Well, some bastardization of the Will Rogers Follies. He bemoaned, quote, the actresses, quote, perma-smile actresses whose only qualifications seem to be their phenomenally large breasts and tight buttocks.
Did he say the buttocks?
He did.
I like the tight buttocks.
And
keep it tight.
And now he's apologizing for making those comments as a 19-year-old about women's physical features, these actresses' physical features. It's funny. The D.C. Press Corps, that's a story in Politico. The D.C. Press Corps, insider trading, nah, not a big deal. Drunk driving, leaving the scene of an accident, no. Felony burglary on a college campus, nah. Did you notice a woman has large breasts and a tight buttock? Oh, my God. That's what they focus on. It is
so crazy.
What dimension are we in?
What happened to America?
I mean, I literally, this is like, you ever remember on Cheers, Frasier turns to Cliff after one of Cliff's ridiculous
rants?
His observations or his phony baloney anecdotes about history or whatever. He says, Cliff, what color is the sky in your world? That's what I want to ask the left. What color is the sky in your world? Jeff in Homer Glen, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I'm a voter here in Illinois, unfortunately, and in our 3rd congressional district, the Republicans have a guy named Arthur J. Jones who's a known neo-Nazi. Yeah. How come we don't have any better options in a year where we're trying to keep control of the House?
Because the Illinois Republican Party is
asleep at the wheel,
is incompetent, buffoonish, complicit, compromised, pathetic. That's why.
Well, they're allowing a write-in. Any suggestions?
They are?
Well, yeah, anybody.
Anybody. Put yourself down.
A write-in's not going to beat Dan Lipinski, so, but anybody. I don't know. Put Homer Glenn, put Steve Balich there. I don't know. Thanks for the call, Art. Jeff, excuse me.
Put yourself in.
Yeah, wait, what? Yeah.
They said, and then I confronted him about it, and they said, oh, well, he snuck in at the last minute. We didn't see him coming. Art Jones.
No, those Nazis are sneaky.
Yeah, real sneaky.
You have how many?
5 minutes before the deadline. They he snuck in, Amy. We couldn't stop him.
You have Republican. You have Republican incumbents, so they're going to be the Republican nominees in their districts.
Yeah.
And then you got a handful of challenger races. This is in Chicago Metro. He's a perennial candidate.
Yeah.
Snuck in. It's a real good defense. It sounds like something Beto O'Rourke would say. John in Palatine.
Hey, Dan and Amy. I just wanted to say I believe the left seems to prosecute with shame and innuendo, and the right relies on evidence and fact.
Yeah, and evidence and facts are losing, it seems, in today's America.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
And Susan Michaud from Wheaton's home values are suffering for it.
Our property values are going down because our taxes keep going up.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fiori-Avanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes.
Sean Thompson blames both sides.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home and our state now. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I spent years studying how to make this the best. I didn't make this because I wanted to make a company. Other companies are starting to catch on to this, and I buy every single other product that comes out so I can look at it and see it and test it. And I fear that people will buy some counterfeit and take it for a couple of months and go, oh, it's a bunch of crap. Doesn't work. Don't be fooled. This is the real stuff. We have absolutely the best process, and I can say that because we purchase every single one and check them out.
I took everything that was on the market,
Nothing ever worked. Nothing ever worked. And this is the first thing that's really worked.
Nothing can compare with the benefits of Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code CHICAGO.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy will keep you updated all morning as memories come back to Amy Jacobson regarding the murder she didn't commit and the body that may be buried in
And
her
I just
former
said there's
residence.
something buried in my backyard. It was a suppressed memory that came to me.
Yeah.
It was in a rental property. I've already gotten 2 text messages.
Do they know?
Neighbors. Well,
Are they digging?
not yet. I have to show them the exact location.
Yeah.
We shouldn't make light of this. This isn't.
No, absolutely
But
not.
I just remember at the time I was busy and I was
Sure.
raising 2 young kids, changing diapers.
Can't keep track of bodies in your yard when you got 2 kids in the house.
Well, I was looking for work. I was depressed. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. I didn't have time.
Yeah.
I looked at it and I said, I don't have time for that.
I don't have time for that corpse.
I mean, what do you think this is? I could only handle so much stuff. I was moving, getting divorced. It was awful. No job.
Yeah.
Then that?
Yeah.
That would have put me over the edge. So I suppressed it.
Mhm.
And then years later, when I'm watching The Keepers, things started coming back to me.
Yeah. But do you have any more details that you
Well,
can
you're
share?
scaring me because you're like, why'd you kill somebody? I said, I'm not saying I didn't kill somebody. I'm not homicidal. I'm just saying somebody dumped something in my backyard, I think.
Do you know who did? Do you remember who did it? Can you
No,
provide
I
a
don't have
description of the suspect?
I don't have security cameras.
No, but these are
No, I
these
didn't
are memories that are
I
flooding
didn't
back.
see anybody do anything.
Well, you just said somebody may have dumped it.
Well, somebody dug a hole in my backyard and it wasn't me. That's all I can tell you.
You didn't
officer.
see the person dig
No,
the hole.
God, no.
How long was the hole there?
I don't know.
So
Until the grass grew over it again, but then it was rainy, it was cold out, and then it snowed, which would have been physically impossible for me. Do you know how hard it is? Have you ever tried to dig a hole? Well, you're probably not handy like me, but I mean, if you ever tried to
What do you think? This is the
bury
first hole I
something?
dug?
I mean,
Get the lime.
It's hard. It's very physical work.
So let me understand something. So there's a hole in your backyard that may or may not have a body in it, and you have past experience digging such holes.
No,
Are you sure that you're not having a dissociative episode where you're projecting onto an unnamed suspect a hole you actually dug and a body you actually placed in that hole? Isn't that right, Mrs. Jacobson?
All I could tell you was in the 80s, I dug a hole for
Look.
my cat Snuggles, who got hit by a car on River Road, and it was hard to dig that
Yeah.
hole.
The Snuggles defense isn't going to cut it this time, Jacobson. Look, this is going to be much easier if you just tell us what happened. If you cooperate, you show us
I'll show
what
you
you did.
the area
Look,
of concern.
Give the family some closure.
But the problem is, new people now live in that house, and I don't want to
Yeah.
bother them by tearing up their backyard.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it'd be real inconvenient for them. That's what you're worried about, their inconvenience.
On the witness stand, I would swear that Amy Jacobson had a shovel.
I don't have I don't own
I
a
would
shovel.
You just said you
Swear.
dug holes. What you dug holes
No,
with?
that
Miss
was in the
Jacobson, your
80s,
hands?
in my house in Mount
What did you do
Prospect.
with the shovel in the 80s?
Maybe it was a trowel, but I'm sure it was silver and shaped like a shovel.
I don't have a shovel. Oh, now I own a shovel, though.
Oh,
now you own a shovel.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Are you
I'll let
sure
you
they
know
didn't
that-
trim the trees in your backyard, and they
Mike, I
came in
swear to
and
God.
to trim trees off the power
We
lines?
had one.
Come on.
No, we had one. When I lived there, again, I was renting. There was one large pine tree and then cypress trees to the right. There was nothing in between. It was like 4x6, and I remember looking at it and thinking, "Oh dear Lord, I don't have time for that." And then I blocked it out.
Look, if you just tell me what happened, I can talk to the DA.
As your defense attorney, I would say that thing is not on. Do not speak.
All right. I think we're close to
And then they
cracking
had
this
a
case
Law and
wide
Order
open.
episode where a reporter went swimming with a guy, and I mean, it was just all bad. The whole episode 16,
Yeah.
whatever 18.
Do
My
you
kids
sometimes
saw that and were horrified. I said, I didn't murder anybody. Because in the Law and Order episode, the reporter ended up
look?
being the
If it was
murderer.
an accident, we can talk
Oh
to
my
the
God, I
DA.
didn't
Just
hurt-
tell us what happened.
I'm not homicidal. I don't know what to tell you. I'm
I know.
not that
Look.
person. I'm just saying, what a perfect place to bury bones or a body.
Yes, but you are under tremendous stress at this
Exactly.
time.
Exactly.
Right? And so you really don't remember what you possibly did during that
Oh,
time
my God.
period.
Oh,
Miss
yeah,
Miss
please.
Jacobson, isn't it true that you on this show have suggested that the Forest Preserve is a great place to bury a body as well? You seem to have an obsession with concealing the locations of dead bodies.
I can stipulate to that
Talking
testimony.
about
Yeah.
animals. It's a perfect place to bury. Oh, to commit a crime, the perfect place is Forest Preserve because the Forest Preserve police kind of asleep at the wheel, if you know what I mean.
Why'd you do it? Just tell us why you did it.
Oh, look at the time.
You're gonna feel so much better. Just let it go.
Oh my God.
This is
I didn't
over.
do anything.
All right, we'll have Amy Jacobson's confession at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. But coming up at 7:37, we're going to talk to Roger Kimball about
goodness.
Trump's pronouncements yesterday, both on trade and Kavanaugh.
Yeah, now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
59 in clouds. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says senators will vote on Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation this week. White House is authorizing the FBI to continue and expand its investigation into sexual misconduct allegations against the Supreme Court nominee.
This is our 7th investigation of a man who has really, you look at his life until this happened. What a change he's gone through.
The expansion comes with one condition: the review must be finished by the end of this week. We're watching Wall Street this morning. Stock index futures are down before the markets open as investors digest yesterday's strong rally following the announcement of the new trade deal between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Thousands of Amazon employees getting a raise. The online retail giant announcing this morning it will be raising the minimum wage for all of its workers to $15 an hour November 1st. No one is in custody after a man was shot and killed near the lakefront on Chicago's north side. Chicago PD has not released an identity. Jesus Chuy Garcia will not run for mayor of Chicago, making that announcement, citing the fact he's already in the November 6th or on the November 6th ballot for the U.S. House as a key factor in his decision. Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun singled in runs in the 8th. Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1 in the tiebreaker at Wrigley Field for the NL Central title. So now the Cubs will host the Rockies in the NL wildcard game tonight. The news service of InvisibleFence.com. Want your pet to learn safe boundaries? You need Invisible Fence brand and their award-winning technology and training protocols. Taught by certified trainers. Schedule your free quote today at InvisibleFence.com for $315 off now through October 31st. InvisibleFence.com. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560 The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've been on it now. It's got to be close to 5 or 6 years. But I've never run out, and I like to have a little cushion if I want to double up. If I feel a little, like I need a little extra, I don't have to worry about being stingy with it. I'm 54 years old, but anyway, 9 years ago, almost 10 years, it'll be 10 years this December 6th. And I went to work one day. I went, and I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke right at work. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days in the brain trauma unit of the hospital in New Jersey. And the only reason they even tried to save my life was because I was 44 at the time. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. My body's been through a lot. And, I used to be in bed for most of the, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I'm talking to you now. I sound pretty wired. And I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. And, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better. And when I came home, I was on 17 medications, not 17 pills, 17 medications, maybe 40 pills a day. Now I'm down to 3 very, very, very low dose pills, and I'm hoping to get off of everything here. Where I was to what I am now, it's unbelievable. I'm so blessed. So you're speaking to literally a miracle.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code CHICAGO.
7:36, a check on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Eden's traffic is jammed. Peterson to Montrose, it's 32 minutes. Lyckook Junction, outbound 30. Kennedy, an hour and 6 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 32 minutes from Montrose, 31 of the express. Outbound 52 minutes to the airport. On Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown, 42 from Mannheim. Outbound 56 minutes to 390. Stevenson inbound delay starting at 126. And it's an hour and 5 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 34 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Tri-States, though, 120 to Bradley. Northbound, 111th to 87th. From the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan to Lawrence. Veterans Memorial northbound jam. Boughton to Ogden. Crash to the left lane. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy and 70 today. Cloudy and mild overnight, low 62, currently 58. Your next news update is at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Georgetown professor Christine Fair. We've talked about her before. She's got quite the potty mouth on her. Christine Fair tweeting. She's an associate professor at Georgetown Securities Studies program. She tweeted over the weekend in response to Lindsey Graham's Joseph Welch moment during the Kavanaugh hearing, as well as just the sum total of the hearings themselves and what Republicans had to say. She said, Christine Fair tweeted, "All of them deserve miserable deaths, while feminists laugh as they take their last gasps. Bonus, we castrate their corpses and feed them to swine. Yes." She also tweeted, "Look at this chorus of entitled white men justifying a serial rapist's arrogated entitlement." Hilariously, Georgetown University said in response to an inquiry about the good professor's tweets that they respect Fair's right to freedom of speech, but also expect her to keep her classrooms free of bias. Oh yes.
Okay.
That's going to happen. Remember, she has said other things. She's, in 2017, she came under fire sending messages to a former Georgetown professor, Asra Nomani. Nomani claimed that Fair began harassing her after she admitted to voting for Trump for president. I've written you off as a human being. Your vote helped normalize Nazis in D.C. Do you understand? What don't you understand? You clueless dolt. F you. Go to hell. And profanity is punctuates Fair's Twitter page. Unfortunately, Twitter suspended her account.
Oh, really?
And I am starting a campaign. I just tweeted myself, starting a campaign to have Christine Fair's account reinstated.
Yeah.
Because I'm from the Brandeis School that sunlight is the best disinfectant. And I think the nation needs to see how polluted our college campuses are, the hallowed halls of academia in places like Georgetown, putatively a good school, whatever that means anymore. See who's there. See how polluted it is when you have people like Christine Fair who are professors at colleges with reputations like Georgetown. Oh, in a related story in academia, Kavanaugh teaching at Harvard. Remember how he said, love teaching at law school? That's probably over thanks to Senate Democrats on the Judiciary Committee.
Yeah, I love coaching. Have been for 7 years, 5th and 6th grade girls basketball. That might be over with.
His class at Harvard has been canceled. Brett Kavanaugh's.
Really?
Of course. For more on this topic and other Kavanaugh-related issues, we're pleased to be joined again by Roger Kimball, who's the editor of The New Criterion and columnist for PJ Media, and hails from the intellectual realm of Eastern Seaboard high-mindedness himself. Roger, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, nice to be with you. I should point out, however, that I grew up in Maine.
Oh.
The rural fastness is in Maine, so
all right.
So I haven't been thoroughly marinated in the East Coast.
Good. You're lucked out.
Often.
What about so everything Kavanaugh predicted that actually was occurring to him in real time on Thursday is now coming to fruition, including the Democrats moving the goalposts, which is all their histrionics Thursday about turn to Don McGahn, as Dick Durbin said, and tell him to start the FBI investigation. So how do you react to what we're getting from Democrats now that they got what they wanted, courtesy of Flake and Coons?
Well, there's an old Chinese saying, be careful what you wish for. And I suspect that the Democrats are going to rue the day they asked for an FBI investigation. Because, of course, what you say to a journalist is neither here nor there. You're not under oath. But what you say to any federal officer is subject to U.S. Code 1001, which says that it's a felony to lie or misrepresent what you say if you're talking to the FBI or the Judiciary Committee or any federal officer. I see that Senator Grassley has already referred one person to the Department of Justice for a criminal complaint because of he without foundation alleged that Brett Kavanaugh had assaulted somebody on a boat in Newport. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this. I would love to have the FBI have a nice sit down with Christina Blasey Ford and find out exactly what happened. Of course, she doesn't have to talk to them, and if she's wise, she won't. But I suspect that we're going to find out that Deborah Ramirez and Ms. Svetnick, who's offered up to the world by Michael Avenatti, that they're just Democratic shills lying. And if they talk to the FBI, it's likely that they will find themselves with a new orange suit for the next 5 years.
Well, Roger, you did
be gratifying.
Yeah, you saw Svetnick's interview with Kate Snow, correct?
I did not.
Oh, well, she pretty much said, because she asked her, was Brett Kavanaugh the one who assaulted you, and she didn't know. She's like, I don't know. I can't say with certainty.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's going to be questioned by the FBI. Democrats gave a list of 24 people, 24 witnesses they want questioned. But who do we know so far that's been questioned? Mark Judge was yesterday. Luddington.
Mark Judge is the only one I know.
Yeah, Luddington was, and Deborah Ramirez.
Yeah, but I know it's and as we watch this malignant circus unfold, it's difficult to keep in mind how bizarre this whole process is. I mean, the spectacle of this obtuse Senator Whitehouse parsing Brett Kavanaugh's high school yearbook on the floor of the Senate was preposterous. Oh my gosh, what does boof mean? It's just ridiculous. Now, of course, it's even worse than this. Yes, they are trying to destroy Brett Kavanaugh. But I think, John Hinderaker had a very insightful piece the other day at Powerline, I think, when he pointed out that the fact that Brett Kavanaugh is a man of spotless reputation, a distinguished jurist whose integrity was hitherto unquestioned by anyone, that fact makes the destruction of Brett Kavanaugh not a bug, but a feature. The point is they could do this to anyone.
Right.
And the moral is you better back off and cede power to us. We, the progressive left, are the only ones who really deserve to govern. You conservatives, you can be sort of window dressing, but you don't really get a voice in this. Now, I think that people are actually beginning to wake up to this. And, they have declared war. They have declared war on the rule of law, on the Constitution, on due process. And you can see people waking up, like Lindsey Graham gave the performance of his career during the hearings last week. And I suspect this whole thing now is going to be a huge, huge backfire for the left. Well, Kavanaugh will be confirmed, and the midterms are not going to be a blue wave, believe me.
Well, yeah, and Mitt McConnell said yesterday that the vote is going to happen this week. He confirmed that there will be a confirmation vote this week after the FBI report is filed. And the other dynamic, it seems to me, Republicans need to continue to explain is, and Bill McGurn sort of gets to this in his piece in the Wall Street Journal about this all being, going after Kavanaugh in a way they did in Gorsuch is because Roe is at stake, Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
And that the fact is over the last 50 years, Democrats, the left, have been able to gain through the courts what they couldn't the legislatures, and now they see that in jeopardy. So it's all hands on deck, and every bullet fired.
Yes, well, I think that's true. But I think it's even worse than that. Bad though that is. I mean, it is unquestionably the case that in the background is Roe v. Wade. Although, I believe Kavanaugh when he says that it's this settled law, and he's a constitutionalist who follows the law. But that's just a one kind of sideline here. I mean, the irony is, of course, that Brett Kavanaugh is not a fire-breathing right-wing ideologue. He's a very judicious, impartial judge, which is why everybody loves him. All his law clerks, everybody he's ever worked with or worked for, or who has worked, or has worked for him. He has got a sterling reputation for fairness. So that's the irony. I mean, the Democrats could have done a lot worse than Brett Kavanaugh, and perhaps they will eventually someday. One can only hope. But
the other thing, though, and this points to Brett Kavanaugh as well as to Lindsey Graham. There's two. I mean, Kavanaugh is a conservative and an originalist, and I get that, but he's also part of the Beltway establishment and has been for a long time.
Yes,
and he thought collegiality was going to be enough to get him through because everybody loved him. And now he has gotten a strong dose of what the cultural Marxist left actually is. And so is Lindsey Graham. And hopefully this is a message to the other Beltway creatures that are on the R side.
Yes, I hope it's a wake-up call. But behind all this, Roe v. Wade is one thing. And you're absolutely right. For the last several decades, the Democrats have been used to using the Supreme Court to circumvent the will of the people. The Supreme Court has become their legislative bludgeon to progress, to foster a progressive agenda, and that would definitely be in jeopardy. But even beyond that, I think it's that you saw this. Many of the Democratic senators, when summing up their feelings why they weren't going to vote for Brett Kavanaugh, a leitmotif was he was picked by Donald Trump. Yeah. And the original sin here is that Donald Trump's election is held to be illegitimate. Why? Because he was elected without their permission and over their strenuous objections. He's not of their tribe. He somehow, despite all of their careful plans, managed to get elected. And not only that, he is willing to react to their assaults instead of rolling over into a little ball and whimpering in the corner like other Republicans tend to do. He stands up to them. If he's attacked, he attacks back. And this, I'm afraid, what we have just seen over these last 2 weeks with this disgusting display is all-out war. And I'm happy to say that I see our side finally standing up for itself. Senator Grassley has done, some very good things in the last week or so in standing up for the process. And I think that the Democrats are going to rue the day they open this Pandora's box.
All right. He is Roger Kimball, editor of The New Criterion and columnist for PJ Media. Roger, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Senator Joe Donnelly has some strong words for companies that outsource jobs. Here's what Donnelly said.
It's wrong. It's unpatriotic. It's shameful. And it's un-American.
That's why it's so shocking that Donnelly's own family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. According to job postings, the Mexican factory where the Donnelly's business outsourced jobs paid employees just $3 per hour. As for Donnelly, he pocketed up to $80,000. That's on top of his $174,000 Senate salary, almost 3 times what the average Hoosier family earns. American jobs shipped to Mexico while Donnelly personally profits.
It's shameful and it's un-American.
You're right, Joe. It is shameful, and it's time for Mexico Joe Donnelly to lose his job. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Imagine your son after a year of college. What kind of man do you hope to see? A man fully alive and committed to making good choices and doing the right thing because they are right and because he's strong enough? Northridge Prep in Niles builds that kind of man. At an open house on Sunday, October 21st, see for yourself what makes Northridge Prep the #1 all-boys school 3 years running and the 4th best Catholic school in Illinois. Their academically rigorous curriculum celebrates the adventure of boyhood. Hall Fest, the Superfans, jousting tournaments, and more make it a good place to be a boy. Northridge Prep is an independent school for boys, grades 6 through 12. They produce men with the ability to think for themselves. Graduates go to the best universities, including the Ivy League. Every teacher is a role model, and 50% of faculty attended a top 20 university. Don't miss Northridge Prep's open house on Sunday, October 21st. Learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Message and data rates may apply.
Looking to spruce up your home with fashionable new window blinds, shades, and draperies? Look no further than Chicago's own Eddie Z's, the window treatment experts that come to you. Eddie Z's is offering radio listeners an amazing offer. Buy 1 window treatment and get the second at 50% off. To schedule a free shop-at-home appointment with one of our friendly and professional design consultants, simply text WINDOW to 642-642 or go to eddiez's.com. By providing an amazing selection of today's top brand names and styles and advice from experts who come to you, Eddie Z's has earned an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Save big with our buy 1 and get 50% off on the second treatment of select blinds, shades, or drapery. Nobody does blinds and drapery better than Eddie Z's. Nobody. Take the first step into transforming your home with beautiful window treatments by scheduling your free at-home consultation. Simply text WINDOW to 642-642 or go to eddiez's.com. Text WINDOW to 642-642.
Hey, I've been raving about MyPillow for years now, but I also know a lot of my listeners, our listeners, still aren't sleeping on a MyPillow. Why not? Even if you sleep well on a different pillow, I recommend you try sleeping on a MyPillow. That's because you can actually move the fill to give you the support you need, regardless if you sleep on your back or side or stomach. And like I've told you, I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. I feel refreshed. I feel ready to tackle the day. I love it that they're made in America, washable and dryable. That's huge. So if they get dirty, just pop it in the washer and dryer. There's a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for the buy one, get one free deal. Keep one for yourself, give the other as a gift, or give one to your spouse or to your son or daughter. You'll still get 30% off everything else, including those MyPillow mattress toppers, which are fantastic. The pet beds, which are unbelievable. My dog Bunky loves her pet bed, sleeps on it every day. And those Giza cotton sheets, don't forget about those. And the pillowcases, find it all at mypillow.com. And when you go to checkout, type Amy, and voila, 30% off your entire order. It's fantastic. mypillow.com or call 800-489-0201.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. If I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code CHICAGO.
For more than a half-century, Mueller CPA and Financial Advisory has provided audit, tax, outsourced accounting, business consulting, and financial advisory services to Chicagoland companies. Mueller provides customized financial guidance to a client base that includes independent business owners, startups, local government, and nonprofits. I'm with Dave Nissen, Mueller Managing Partner.
Thanks, Dan. Mueller values being part of the community for the last 50 years, meeting our clients' financial service needs. A major component of meeting those needs is our professionals' superb knowledge and their ability to deliver timely and quality solutions to meet our clients' challenges. Whether you're interested in tax minimization strategies, looking to expand your business, or need assistance with business planning, our team can help. Our goal is your company's financial success today and over a lifetime.
For questions about how the recent legislative changes can specifically affect your business or how to effectively plan for these changes, call Dave Nissen at 847-888-8600 or visit MuellerCPA.com. That's Mueller, MUELLER, CPA.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy.
Wait, I thought that was Holly from Hudson. That high school picture when she was 15 years old.
What are you talking about?
Christine Blasey Ford, or Blasey at the time.
Yeah.
With the glasses and the.
Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
Okay, because Holly from Hudson, who listens to the show religiously.
Yeah.
She tweeted that out. I thought that was a picture of her in high school.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, that picture has been making its way around.
Well, what do you look like when you're 15? Can you bring in your high school yearbook, please? Because I'd like to go over it, see if there's any boofing going on or Ralphing or
sure. All the codes.
Devil's Triangle. What do we have going there at Bennett Academy?
This is an important court case for you uniform wearers.
Oh.
If you wear a uniform on your job.
Oh, you mean activewear? That's my.
Well, that's your sort of de facto uniform, but I mean like a formal uniform that's regulated by a employee handbook.
Oh, okay.
Say like at In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, or McDonald's or other places.
Employees at the Austin location of In-N-Out Burger wore Fight for $15, Fight for 15 campaign buttons, the minimum wage thing. Management told them to remove them, citing the dress code, which required 9 different parts: white pants, white shirt, white socks, black shoes, black belt, red apron, gold apron pin, a company-issued name tag, and a hat. Wearing any type of pin or stickers is not permitted. However, the Fifth Circuit disagreed with In-N-Out Burger and said that certain expressions of clothing that fall under a, quote, protected concerted activity exception to an employer's supremacy when it comes to your uniform.
We need to talk. Do you know what this is about?
My, flair?
Yeah. Or, your lack of flair, because, I'm counting and I only see 15 pieces. Let me ask you a question, Joanna. What do you think of a person who only does the bare minimum?
What do I think? You know what, Stan? If you want me to wear 37 pieces of flair like your pretty boy over there, Brian, why don't you just make the minimum 37 pieces of flair?
Well, I thought I remembered you saying that you wanted to express yourself.
Yeah, and now Joanna can, and she doesn't have to be harassed by Stan, thanks to the Fifth Circuit.
It is 8 o'clock right now, and we're going to have a high today of 70 degrees. Time for Fox News.
Democrats want 24 people interviewed in the FBI's Brett Kavanaugh investigation. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The FBI should be able to interview anyone appropriate. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, will that include Julie Swetnick? She's the Supreme Court nominee's third accuser who told MSNBC she remembers Kavanaugh from parties.
I saw him go up to girls and paw on them, try to, get a little too handsy, touching them in private parts.
Swetnick also claims Kavanaugh was at a party where she was gang raped in the early 1980s. He denies all the allegations, calls it something out of the Twilight Zone. And MSNBC did say that before the interview, they were unable to corroborate any of Swetnick's allegations. President Trump was out supporting his nominee at a rally last night. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump accused Democrats of doing everything they can to bring down Judge Kavanaugh, telling the crowd in Johnson City, Tennessee.
They've been trying to destroy him since the very first second he was announced.
Even as the president has allowed for an extended investigation into allegations against Kavanaugh, he doesn't believe Democrats will be satisfied.
By the way, if we took 10 years, then what more time?
President Trump says he wants the FBI investigation completed this week. Dave.
Now, Rachel, Republicans, they want to have a Senate vote this week. 3 scientists are sharing the Nobel Prize in Physics for their work with lasers. American Arthur Ashkin is 96, the oldest Nobel Prize winner ever. In Las Vegas, they rang bells last night and dimmed the lights on the Strip exactly a year after the shooting spree, and they read the names of all 58 people murdered. Hundreds of survivors linked arms in a human chain. Mayor Carolyn Goodman.
We still have those who continue to suffer and have operations still from that heinous act.
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 59 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following this morning on WIND Chicago. No one is in custody after a man was shot and killed near the lakefront on Chicago's north side. Chicago police say the shooting happened last night while the victim was walking on the Loyola Park bike path near Lunt Avenue. The murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke resumes today following a day off. The trial postponed yesterday because of a sick juror. A young child among 3 killed in a crash that left 3 others badly hurt on the south side. Officers began following a speeding car last night, but disengaged that chase. That vehicle went on and then slammed into another vehicle near 69th and Loomis. When police got there, they found the impact caused that speeding vehicle to collide with 2 others stopped at the intersection. A young boy and 2 adults were killed, while a 2-year-old girl and 2 other adults are in stable condition this morning. The U.S. Supreme Court is refusing to grant former Bolingbrook Police Sergeant Drew Peterson a new trial, dealing another blow to his efforts to have his murder conviction in the 2004 drowning death of his 3rd wife overturned. The decision announced yesterday follows 2 rulings by the Illinois Supreme Court, rejecting Peterson's appeal of his 2012 conviction in the death of Kathleen Savio. Chicago sports. Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1 in that National League Central tie-breaking game at Wrigley Field. Now the Cubs will host the Rockies in the NL wildcard game tonight. 8:03 is our time. It's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Amazon is raising the minimum wage for all its U.S. workers to $15 an hour. The increase includes full-time, part-time, temporary, seasonal, and Whole Foods employees. It takes effect November 1st. PepsiCo's business is improving. The company's Frito-Lay snack unit improved. It also made more money from its beverage business in North America. WW, the company formerly known as Weight Watchers, is switching its stock from the New York Stock Exchange to the NASDAQ. The change will happen October 15th. The company says it believes the NASDAQ will give it more visibility. Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen says his cancer has returned. Allen says he overcame non-Hodgkin's lymphoma nearly a decade ago. He plans to fight it aggressively. The Dow closed up 192 yesterday. NASDAQ dropped 9. S&P added 10. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
He's electrified the 2016 Republican National Convention.
Blue Lives Matter in America.
He's been a strong voice in support of law enforcement, and he hasn't been afraid to call out groups like Black Lives Matter. And Sheriff David Clark is coming to Freedom Summit 2018 on October 27th in Itasca, presented by Geiger Wealth Management, Chicago's retirement planning experts. Get your tickets today before they sell out. Go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief can also prevent muscle cramps before they start, so you can get a full night's sleep without having to worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply, absorbs quickly, and it works. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and you don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com.
There's nothing small about your business. Your passion, your hours, your reputation, it's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is jammed. Foster to Washington. It's an hour and 16 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 53 minutes from Montrose. 45 on the Express. Outbound 48 minutes to O'Hare. Aiden's 22 minutes. Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 34. Eisenhower 58 minutes. 390 to downtown. 40 from Manheim. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow 120 to Bradley. Northbound 111th, 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. But Adams Tollway slow lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway Farnsworth 59. Northbound Veterans Memorial jammed, I-55 to Ogden after a crash, and St. Charles to 290. It's traffic, I'm Chip Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly cloudy day, high 67. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 62. Tomorrow breezy with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour in the morning, up to 35 miles per hour for the afternoon. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun, high 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
59 degrees. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and our next guest has spent an entire career leading up to this moment. Criminal profiler who, along with his team, broke the Unabomber case and captured Ted Kaczynski. The author of a series of books, Journey to the Center of the Mind. Also, Manhunt is the Netflix memorialization of the Unabomber case, and it's excellent. Paul Bettany and Sam Worthington plays James Fitzgerald. But this prepares him for perhaps the greatest case of his career and a comeback because he's retired.
Yeah.
I assume the FBI has reached out to enlist him to crack the case of the 1985 bar fight at Demery's in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, I want to hear all about it. It involved ice, correct?
Yeah, ice.
Don't you ice me out, baby.
It involved
ice, baby.
It involved UB40. Remember that?
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
he went to that concert,
yeah,
right
yeah.
there at a concert, then
Yeah.
they went to the bar.
Or did he? Did he go to that concert?
How could that concert make you angry? It kind of mellows me out.
James Fitzgerald, thank you so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. And yeah, based on that bar fight, that's why, darn it, we should abolish ICE right now.
This is exactly.
Well, what happened with this bar fight?
What happened with this
Oh,
bar
I have-
fight? I mean, what are you talking about?
I mean,
You got to.
I've certainly been in.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I've been in my share of bar fights, and it looks like back in the day, not
Oh,
recently,
really?
fortunately. But I mean, late high school, college. I mean, those things happen.
Yeah.
And I just read one quick media review of it. I don't think that's going to go too far in this whole scenario that's being painted here about Judge Kavanaugh.
Did any of your bar fights include Charles Chad Ludington, or do you wish they had?
Yeah, he wouldn't be my wingman in a bar fight, especially not 25 or 40 years later, whatever the heck it's been. So thanks anyway, Chad. I appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, it's so bizarre because he was interviewed by the FBI and he said that Kavanaugh's not telling the truth about his drinking. When did this go from alleged sexual assault to how much beer he drinks?
Well, apparently the people keep saying the goalposts are moving. The way I've been watching things lately, the entire stadium is moving from one side of a city or state to another in terms of where these allegations are going and where and what Judge Kavanaugh apparently did or did not do back in the day.
What do you think?
It's truly bizarre.
What do you? I mean, Democrats, as you say, they're moving the stadiums, and imagine that it turns out they're not satisfied with the White House's authorization of the FBI to interview anyone necessary for the Kavanaugh inquiry. And some Democrats even suggested that the FBI agents conducting these interviews and putting together this report this week testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee themselves. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, all these agents are going to do are interview some people that have already been interviewed, perhaps come up with some different people, ancillary people, tertiary people that may or may not have been on the site, and they may have some information to provide there, but they're going to memorialize them in these what we call FD 302s. That's the standard interview form or report, and that it's very formulaic. It starts with the person's name and address. They know they're talking to an FBI agent, and here's what so-and-so provided me. And it goes 1 page, 10 pages, 20 pages, whatever, and at the end there's no conclusions. FBI agents in the field as investigators don't render conclusions or opinions in these reports. Now, me as a profiler, when I moved on I became a supervisor assigned to Quantico, I would look at cases and I could write reports and render opinions in them. And of course, I've even testified to some of those in court. But that's not what these agents are being asked to do in this kind of case. As far as them testifying, I think the reports would speak. They're going to cross-examine an FBI agent about someone from 36 years ago who may or may not said this, that, or the other. I mean, I think there's very little to gain from that point, except, of course, to perhaps delay this entire process.
So basically, it's a he said, she said situation because there's no physical evidence besides Kavanaugh's calendars. So they'll interview all these people. I mean, I don't know, I think 4 or 5 total. The Democrats want them to interview 24 witnesses. That's not going to happen. And they're going to present this evidence to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Is that how it works?
That seems to be how it works. You know, all 56 divisions of the FBI have what's known as, they have multiple squads who do different kind of work. And a lot of the rookie agents, when they first come out of Quantico and sent to their respective division, they wind up on what's known as the applicant squad. And all they do for the first year, 2 years, is really go out and interview other FBI agent employees, or I should say candidates, and their families and their former schoolmates, whatever. And if it's a federal judge, an appellate judge, and even that rare occasion of the nomination of a Supreme Court judge, they go out in their division and talk to people that are relevant to this entire thing. So there's nothing really unusual about that. But, Amy, to go back to your question, I think, you know, a door has been open here. And I think what really, as a profiler, I'll mention that again, and you guys know that's where I spent about 12 years of my career. A very big word, a very important term in that field is that of victimology. And we have an alleged victim here in Dr. Ford, and I have nothing to contest that something, you know, didn't happen to her. I mean, we'll say some kind of a sexual assault took place at some point in her life. But you know what? Let's ask her some very specific questions. And she can have her attorney there. And let's say, hey, were you ever sexually assaulted before? Did anybody else assault you either before or after this time? I'd want to know that. We don't even need to know specific details. If she knows the name, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But let's also I worked a case, and I memorialized this in my most recent book. I worked a case with a woman who came to the FBI, and from 25 years earlier, she claimed her father was a serial killer, and she, in fact, witnessed him tie these women up in her basement, decapitate them, rape them. He did things to her. He kidnapped the little boy. And along with the New York State Police, I worked this matter for the better part of a year and a half. And it turns out she was so convinced she saw what happened. But quite frankly, without giving too much away to the end of this chapter, it clearly didn't happen like she said. It was a repressed memory situation with her psychologist. And I even interviewed the psychologist, and he said, no, that's not what it is. These things really happen. And it all fell apart, like a number of other cases I've worked over the years. So these are just some of the questions I'd want to know about her. I mean, I'd also want to ask her, what's the memory of her time? Let's go back to 1982, and one of the FBI agents could say, hey, let me just ask you a few basic questions. Who was the president in 82? Who was the governor of Maryland? Hey, what are some of the movies you saw that summer? And let's kind of test her memory from back then. And she may have an answer for everything, and that works in her favor. But maybe she also doesn't, and that could also bring into question some of the memory parts of her brain and how it functioned back then, and take it from there. So this shouldn't just be the 3 or 4 people that we've heard mentioned already. I really think a detailed interview of her, her parents, her siblings, and any other friends that knew her around the time could open up a lot of doors for investigators here, including the nomination of Judge Kavanaugh.
Very interesting. In Wall Street Journal piece, 2 former Justice Department attorneys who routinely write op-eds together, Rifkin and Remington, they provide some sort of just kind of process insight, I think, but I want to check this up against you. They write, FBI background investigations are carried out by a special team within the Bureau called the Special Inquiry and General Background Investigations Unit, the SIGBU, as we know it in the industry. Gatherer of facts, doesn't cajole or challenge witnesses, and routinely offers them anonymity. It never proffers any credibility assessments or speculates about the motives of witnesses. And they also go on to suggest that what the Democrats are doing is to politicize this unit potentially, and the FBI by extension, which is obviously already suffering under the weight of all kinds of politicization. But I just wanted to get your response to their characterization of this investigative unit that does the background investigations, and the concern about the politicization of this unit within the FBI.
Yeah, most violations that are covered within the jurisdiction of the FBI, there's a unit at headquarters, FBI headquarters, that supervises that. And I don't remember the exact name of that unit you mentioned. The FBI changes its unit names and acronyms, every few years for one reason or another. So it's very likely that is a unit based out of headquarters. But they may be supervising some of this. But I assure you, back last Thursday or Friday when it was decided that the FBI would now, do this supplemental, essentially 7th background check of Kavanaugh, every division in the country was notified that this is a special. There's a new number maybe assigned to it, and agents had to work through the weekend, maybe from the applicant squad, maybe some other people brought in from terrorist squads, which is kind of scary that we're taking people away from perhaps some counterterrorism investigations to do some of this stuff. Let's just pray that, nothing happens in the meantime that could have been, determined at that point. So that's what's happening. I'm sure that at any given time there's, hundreds of agents working on this right now, talking to different people all around the Bureau. But I just hope the right questions are being asked by people that know a little bit about sexual assault allegations, not to mention false allegations, which sometimes can be done very honestly and credibly by someone whose just memory is tossed and turned by perhaps some other incidents in their life. I don't know that's what happened here, but this is one of the many options that have to be explored in doing the 7th now, and we'll see if it's the final reinvestigation of Brett Kavanaugh.
And remind people, you cannot lie to the FBI.
No, there's a specific violation, 1001, 18 U.S. Code, and you tell a lie to the FBI, and it certainly can be proven. We've seen some people in the last 2 years alone charged with that in this current administration. So I would advise anyone who is talking to these agents to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
I mean, unless they're McCabe or Comey or something. I mean, there's exceptions, of course. Let me ask you an unrelated question to the Kavanaugh matter, but I want to get your take on this. We just memorialized the gruesome 1-year anniversary of the shooting in Las Vegas, and there's still a lot of questions about the shooter, and the biggest one is, why don't we know more about that shooting and what happened? What's your assessment, understandably from a distance, of the investigation into that massacre and an answer to people's question of why we don't know more?
Yeah, this is going down as one of the bigger mysteries in life. And, Dan, the only thing I can come up with after one whole year of this matter not being resolved, certainly in terms of motivation, I would point to this may have been an attempt at a suicide by cop, but taking out, dozens and dozens of people while you're doing it. And the closest I can come to any sort of analogy to this, and I had them written down at one point, I'm not sure what I did with them, but in the last 20 years or so, we've had at least 3 professional commercial airline pilots take their planes directly into the ground, into a mountain. And it happened with Lufthansa several years ago in Austria. There was an Air Egypt flight in the late 90s, I think, that went down. It left out of Boston. And there was another flight in Africa in the last 5 or 10 years where they deem a pilot purposely crashed the plane into the ground to commit suicide. I know it's kind of like, an apples and oranges type of thing to the general public who hears that, but this is the closest scenario. This guy he wasn't a commercial pilot that could fly hundreds of people, so he wanted to take out as many people as he could because there's no apparent terrorist bent to this. There's no apparent financial matter involved here. There's no sexual gratification out of this. So he must have been one of the suicide by cop, but on a grand scale, he took out as many people as he could, akin to these pilots who, for whatever reason, did the same thing there. I've been asked a few times, Dan and Amy, and that's the closest, unless I hear something else from the investigators. And after 1 year, if we haven't heard it, I'm not sure what it's going to be now. I'm not suggesting a cover-up or anything like that, but maybe this guy was the commercial airline pilot who just couldn't fly a plane that big, so he took everybody out that he could. He's a rebel, without a cause, killing himself and 60 others at the same time. So the airline scenario is the only one I can come up with, and from a behavioral perspective, but we'll see if it's ever proven or disproven.
He is James Fitzgerald, retired FBI special agent and criminal profiler who gained fame from the Unabomber case, author of a series of books, A Journey to the Center of the Mind, and you want to check out that Netflix series called Manhunt, which is about the Unabomber case where Sam Worthington plays James Fitzgerald, Paul Bettany plays Ted Kaczynski. It's really, really good. James Fitzgerald, thanks so much for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good morning.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you owe more than $10,000? Are you juggling your bills, only making minimum payments? Credit card companies are playing a dirty trick on you. They want you to think you must pay it all back, and that's simply not true. Credit card companies hate it when we expose their secrets. In fact, there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. National Debt Relief offers programs that help you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $1 billion of debt. National Debt Relief has earned an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They're also the #1 rated debt relief program by Top Consumer Reviews and Top 10 Reviews. Don't declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. Settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call National Debt Relief now at 800-645-1660. 800-645-1660. 800-645-1660.
Hey, Turnkey IT knows that computer networks and all things IT are the vital heartbeat of any company. However, keeping up with hardware, software, to hiring and managing IT staff can be costly and time-consuming, but there is a Different solution. Now your business can have a full-time IT department for only $795 a month. That's what Turnkey IT's all-in small business package is for. You get world-class help desk, on-site and remote support, monitoring of network resources, 365 hosting, cloud backup, antivirus, and so much more, plus new hardware every 4 years. Hey, where can you hire a reliable and highly capable employee for less than $10K per year? Well, you don't have to with Turnkey IT. From 1 person to 200 employees, it's easy and affordable with Turnkey IT. You run your business, they'll handle the technical stuff. So visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I feel wonderful. I mean, a while ago, I was walking and my whole left side went tingly. And I don't know what happened. I've had the after effects of that in my hands and my legs. And I've noticed that since I've taken the fruits and veggies, I don't have that anymore. So that is one thing that I am very, very pleased with, is I don't feel any of that tingly sensation in my foot. It's like my nerves are getting healed or something. It's just wonderful. I love this. I'm very, very impressed with this product.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code CHICAGO.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. And it's about to get worse. The IRS just hired an army of new tax enforcers. So, if you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. Optima has access to a special IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop that army of new enforcers from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $500 million of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. Call now for your free consultation.
Call 800-480-6932. That's 800-480-6932. 800-480-6932.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
AM 560.
The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and hey, look who was in town yesterday campaigning with Spalding, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I saw them. A little sit down. You want me to be catty? Okay, you know what? I honestly, I don't know what's happening. I'm just very upset with my gender this past few days. Because everyone's, reliving their trauma for when they were sexually abused or attempted sexual assault. And I understand that. But, learn how to separate the issues, lady. Her pain's not my pain. Sorry.
Hillary's pain is not your pain?
Well, Hillary was sitting down next to JB, and I'm like, I think we got a little bit of a weight problem.
When JB Pritzker sits around the house, he literally sits around the house without toilets.
Yeah, we found out yesterday he got out of $330,000 in taxes, property taxes, because he
No.
took out toilets.
No, we didn't find that out yesterday. We've known that
All
for
right, well,
a year. It's just you had an IG report memorializing what we already know to be true, which is he tried to scam the system for, a property tax break on his mansion.
Because of the toilets.
It's a glandular problem. And
No one talks about his weight. I mean, Chris Christie, is he fit to hold office when he was going to run for president? That was a big talk topic. Nobody seems to care about Pritzker.
I care about him. And I've got this exclusive for the show.
Oh, what do you have? His cholesterol level?
No, I've got the schematics or the basis for the renovation he's going to do to the governor's mansion when he gets there.
Yeah.
It's based loosely off this cottage in France. It's a cottage that's entirely made out of chocolate. I'm not kidding. Renowned artisan and chocolatier Jean-Luc Declouzot, who specializes in chocolate sculptures, 18 square meter chocolate cottage crafted out of 1.5 tons of chocolate, which J.B. Pritzker calls dessert. Can accommodate up to 4 guests who will each be surrounded by decadent treats, including chocolate walls, a chocolate roof, fireplace, dresser, clock, cups, books, and a luxuriously sweet chocolate chandelier.
Wait, can you eat this?
Chocolate. And then outside, a more chocolate goodness, a white chocolate duck pond and chocolate flower bed.
Wait a minute.
This is available to rent, or when JB is inaugurated in January, you can wait a couple of months and you can go visit the governor's mansion and have the same experience without having to go to France.
Can you eat the walls in this? I mean, can you eat the chocolate, or you just have to look at it and pray for a chocolate toothbrush?
For JB's sake, I hope not, and I also hope, please, Spalding, keep the toilets installed in the governor's mansion, especially if you're going to make it out of chocolate. It is a diuretic,
Oh, okay. Gross. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Julie Swetnick speaketh at 8:38.
Oh, but first into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Gray skies, 59 degrees. The White House says they have given the go-ahead to the FBI to expand its investigation into the sexual misconduct allegations against Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh. However, that review must be finished by the end of the week. President Trump offering thoughts and prayers on the one-year anniversary of the deadly shooting massacre in Las Vegas.
That was a horrible, horrible time in the life of our country.
58 were killed in that mass shooting. 3 scientists from the United States, France, and Canada have been awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics with the advance of lasers in physics. The death toll from the earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia is now at over 1,200. People in the tourist city of Palu are becoming more desperate. Mazda says all of its vehicles by 2030 will have some sort of electric power, though most will not be running off electric batteries, only about 5%. A young child is among 3 killed in Chicago in a crash that left 3 others hurt on Chicago's south side. It happened near 69th and Loomis. Today, the murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke resumes following a day off prompted by a sick juror. It's going to cost you a bit more to shop online beginning today. Illinois is one of several states that will start collecting online sales taxes. The new taxes follow a Supreme Court decision from last year and will total up about 6.25% on your purchase. Lorenzo Cain and Ryan Braun singled in runs in the 8th inning. Brewers beat the Cubs in the National League Central tiebreaker game 3-1. Now the Cubs host the Rockies in the National League Wild Card play-in game tonight. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, supporting victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, mad.org, madd.org. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't see the recognition of Trump's accomplishments.
The left blew it. Donald Trump has achieved a tremendous amount. Since 1969, this is the lowest number of people filing for unemployment insurance. Do you realize what the headlines would be if this was Hillary Clinton or any Democrat? It would be banner headlines. It's ignored.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do you believe Springfield works for us? Sean Thompson from Elmwood Park doesn't.
Nobody represents me, and nobody represents you. They represent themselves.
Ann Peterson from West Chicago isn't getting her money's worth out of Springfield.
I don't believe that we're getting additional value for the additional taxes that we're paying.
Your property taxes go up, your home value goes down. Politicians waste your money. The government takes your home. Rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, we're all the same when it comes to property taxes. Gino Fioravanti of River Forest is leaving Illinois because of high taxes.
We're not going to be living in Illinois anymore, and it's due to the property taxes. They've just gotten out of control.
It's bipartisan failure.
You either force politicians who oppose property tax caps out of office, or they force you out of Illinois. A group of independent property tax reform candidates are running to save your home. Go to SaveYourHomeNow.org to take up their fight just as they have taken up yours. You stay. The politicians go, because they're the ones who suck. SaveYourHomeNow.org.
Liberty Principles paid for this ad and is solely responsible for its content, not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's Meghan Crane. A weekly conversation about top political issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. Available on Apple Podcasts.
8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Tri-State Tollway southbound traffic is jammed 132 to 176. Northbound 111th, 31st after the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. Veterans Memorial southbound stop and go Roosevelt to 22nd. Northbound jammed I-55 most of the way to Roosevelt. St. Charles to 290. Southbound 53 from Rand to Higgins. Edens runs 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 34. Kennedy inbound delay start at Foster. It's an hour and 16 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 53 minutes from Montrose, 45 on the Express. On Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to Circle, 40 from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan, 38 minutes, 95 to downtown. Eastbound I-80 jammed Humboldt to Cherry Hill with crash. It's traffic. I'm Chip Talamonte. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy and 70 today. Partly to mostly cloudy and mild overnight. Low 62. Currently 59. Next news at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues right now. And make sure to join me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon starting at 2, right here on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I know there was a lot of empathy directed in the direction of Miss Ford for her testimony, a belief that something may have happened or at some point in her life she may have been sexually assaulted. What do you think about Julie Swetnick? Now, this is somebody that Democrats have leveled up as another accuser. And remember, women are to be believed, even if the statements are uncorroborated or
the lady's crazy.
Or in conflict. So Julie Swetnick had this to say in an MSNBC interview she did yesterday about Brett Kavanaugh's charge that her allegations of gang rape, Kavanaugh participating in gang rape, and trying to ply women with alcohol to take advantage of them, part of a group of boys, these high school parties in question. Remember he said this is like from the Twilight Zone. Here's what she said.
You know what I say to that? He's a liar.
So who do you believe, Julie Swetnick or Brett Kavanaugh? Is she somebody that you also have empathy for, that you think her allegations are credible? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. So the details of her recollection.
Well, yeah, is that she's having a hard time recollecting when she decided to come forward and when this happened to her?
So you only thought about coming forward when you learned about Dr. Ford?
Yes, because I did not know how close Brett Kavanaugh was to possibly becoming the next Supreme Court justice.
I just want to get the timeline right about this because he was nominated in July. Christine Ford, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, came forward in the Washington Post more recently in September. So was it in September that you
It's been several weeks, but I'm not somebody who follows the news. I'm not political at all.
Wow.
Yeah, and she does remember what Brett Kavanaugh may have done to her.
I cannot specifically say that he was one of the ones who assaulted me, but before this happened to me at that party, I saw Brett Kavanaugh there. I saw Mark Judge there. And they were hanging about the area where I started to feel disoriented and where the room was and where the other boys were hanging out and laughing. I could hear them laughing and laughing. And it's very hard for me to talk about this, but it's important that somebody says something, because if Brett Kavanaugh was one of those people that did this to me, there is no way in the world that he should go scot-free on this and that he should be on the Supreme Court.
I mean, if maybe...
If he did this to me, right.
This is why the FBI is ignoring this woman, because she's a sideshow, she's a circus, and her lawyer should have his law license yanked.
That would be Michael
Porn star
Avenatti.
lawyer.
She was asked about Avenatti.
Oh, and why she chose him?
My best friend went to George Washington Law School with him. And Michael knows Washington. I wanted an attorney who knew Washington and who was recommended.
But as you know, some people, actually probably a lot of Americans, have expressed doubt about your story simply because of how it came out and who represents you.
I cannot speak for other people and why they would form certain opinions. I just know that I wanted to have good representation, and I think I found it.
Yeah. First of all, keep in mind that this woman claims she had 12 different pending cases against her, or that she was involved in. One of them being she was suing the Washington, D.C. Transit because she slipped and fell on her nose, and claimed at the time that she lost $420,000 in modeling contracts. But as it turned out, when she, push came to shove, she couldn't produce those documents because she lied. She was not part of a modeling agency. She gave her friend's last name as a fake company to try and suck off money from the D.C. transit system. So it didn't work that time.
How about corroborating her story here as it pertains to Kavanaugh? I mean, not much of a story when you can't really put the finger on Kavanaugh. You just heard her say she couldn't. How about corroborating this party ever happened? She ever attended? People in this social circle know who she is. This is Kate Snow reporting, who is the MSNBC reporter who interviewed Swetnick.
Yes, there are people that know about those parties.
This morning, Swetnick provided 4 names of friends she says went to the parties with her. One of them said he does not recall a Julie Swetnick. Another of the friends she named is deceased. We've reached out to the other 2 and haven't heard back. Swetnick says after the alleged attack on her when she was 19, she never returned to those big house parties.
Which she said she'd gone to 10 other house parties after that.
So the ACLU is running $1 million ad campaign in states with swing states, essentially, particularly red states with blue senators, right? And here's the comparison they're making. Kavanaugh is a serial abuser on the order of Bill Clinton and Bill Cosby.
We've seen this before, denials from powerful men.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I've never seen anything like this.
I categorically and unequivocally deny the allegation against me by Dr. Ford.
America is watching. And as we choose a lifetime seat on our highest court, Integrity matters, and we cannot have any doubt.
So there you go. ACLU is calling to mind Voltaire's formulation on the Holy Roman Empire, that it was neither holy nor Roman.
Mhm.
The ACLU is neither civil nor interested in liberties. It's just another left-wing front organization, as left-winger Alan Dershowitz has pointed out about a organization to which he formerly affiliated before President Trump was elected. So Julie Swetnick, credible, substantiates the rapist claims of the left against Kavanaugh, that he is a serial abuser.
And keep in mind, too, she sat with her attorney for 6 days trying to drum up this one?
No,
or
that
was that the other
was
one?
Deborah
that was
Ramirez.
Deborah Ramirez. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean...
Well, that's
right.
a good point to make sure we don't forget that. Because if you really were traumatized, you had to dig deep for 6 days. Give me a break. And Deborah Ramirez was interviewed by the FBI, and then Mark Judge was interviewed by them yesterday, and then his friend Ludington was interviewed as well.
No, I just have to, again, establish the standard that's being applied to Keith Ellison in Minnesota, who's been accused of 2 women of abuse, physical abuse. An allegation standing alone is not necessarily sufficient to conclude that conduct occurred. That's the attorney who investigated Keith Ellison, clearing him essentially of abuse in the case, calling the claim unsubstantiated and thus unactionable. Okay. Diane in Buffalo Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. I think the reason this genius Swetnick said, oh, of course there's multiple rapes, and the girls just stood around. If you look at Christine Ford's quote-unquote accusation, she never mentions that she told her best friend, Leland, who happened to have been Bob Beckel's first wife, she never, while she was there, she ran out the house and never sought to secure or tell her best friend, let's get out of here, you could be attacked. So that part of the story really has always infuriated me, that if you were a friend of Leland, Beckel, Ingram, whatever her name is, if you were her friend, you'd leave your friend in a house to be either molested, abused, or God forbid worse. So no. So that's why this Swetnick said, oh, you know what? I didn't have to warn the other girls either. They were just, just going to be pawns in the party here, huh?
Thanks for the
And
call,
I
Diane.
love how Swetnick took something from the Ford hearings, or from the Kavanaugh hearings when Ford testified, saying it was the laughter. I remember the laughter, and she picked up on that and repeated the same, comment.
Well,
The
and
laughter.
and the other thing, what Diane said, and you've said previously, in conversations
Girl
with
code.
women, this keeps coming up, this idea that, according to Ford, she runs out of the house without concern for her friend, even though she had just been assaulted, so she says. There's no follow-up, but there's no testimony that she, called her friend the next day to see what happened, to make sure she was okay, and that, women find that highly unusual.
That would never happen in a million years. It's a girl code. I would have run after my friend like, hey, why are you leaving? What's going on? Or at the very least, because we didn't have cell phones back then. We did have landlines. Or ride my bike over to her house and say, hey, what happened? Are you okay? But that conversation never happened because this Leland said she wasn't that there was no party. So that would her whole story is falling apart.
Eric in Stoughton, Wisconsin.
Good morning. Good morning, Dan and Amy. How are you?
Morning.
Good.
Say, I just read an article from Senator Graham that I thought would be a good thing to promote in case the vote goes down, if we have a vote on Judge Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Lindsey Graham came out and said that he thought that Trump should reappoint Kavanaugh if the vote goes down by 1, and that it should be a referendum in November for all of us out there that think this good and fine man has been smeared. Let the states that Trump won in November 2 years ago come out and tell people what they think, especially those states that have a Democratic senator now. I think that that's a great idea, that Trump should fight and reappoint him, and I guess I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Thanks for the call, Eric. Yeah, I mean, I think, if there is nothing more cobbled together by the FBI this week than we already know, that's already been made public, then I think this is a go-to-the-mat fight. I really do. It's such an important moment, both in terms of defining the Republican Party, as well as setting a precedent for how and what we will tolerate from the cultural Marxist left. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to go down by a vote if nothing changes in terms of information we know to be true or information that's in the public arena that's being batted about. I think he's going to get confirmed. But look, you've got polling out that has Kramer up 10 on Heitkamp in North Dakota. That's a pickup. Manchin's worried about West Virginia. That's, within the margin of error, as many of these races are.
What about Joe Donnelly?
Donnelly's the margin of error against Braun in Indiana.
And McCaskill, Missouri.
Hawley's up a couple on McCaskill. He's, again, within the margin of error in McCaskill. And the majority of residents, likely voters in states like North Dakota and West Virginia, want Kavanaugh confirmed. It's not close. And so those are all pickup opportunities for Republicans, in addition to a lot of other dead heats like Rick Scott against Bill Nelson in Florida. That's a dead heat. So, on the Senate side, there's potentially a good reason to suggest that if the left wants to make this election on Kavanaugh, they may regret wanting to do so. Richard on the South Side.
I would have to say that if you vote, I love the fact you just brought up Ellison, and that should be absolutely waved in the face of every one of these Democratic senators, every single one of them. That we're just going to go with, what would you do if you were on a jury and listen to this trial play out, and which I've, of course, been on a jury. You would deliberate for maybe the time it would take to sit down and then stand up and then go back in court and say, this is ridiculous, not guilty, we shouldn't even have this trial.
Yeah.
This is really a ridiculous show of justice in the United States. And I'm, by the way, going out of my way to talk to the kids in our high school, my kids' high school, to make sure they know what due process is and that the American law, world. Because you can't let the youth think that this is American justice, because it's certainly not.
Thanks for the call, Richard. Sean in Elmwood Park.
It's bad enough we have to deal with these professional liars, the ones who are married to lobbyists, the ones whose nephews have billion-dollar contracts, like Durbin, right? But at least he's all dialed up. He presents himself in that Mr. Rogers voice, and everything seems wonderful. But when you make me sit there and listen to this clear schizophrenic that should be banging her forehead off a rubber room with a jacket that ties in the back, that's when it's too much. And these idiot interviewers who sit there like they're watching popcorn pop instead of correcting them at each and every turn, you're just as bad, dimwits. The idea that these people who we knew nothing about can bring the country to a halt, who are clearly lying. This is what's wrong. We have no bar of competency. None. Zero. You got something to say, just get up there. You know the right person. You got the right scumbag slip and fall lawyer. You get to the front of the line. This is the problem.
Thanks, Sean.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Makers and doers, have you heard of the Technology and Manufacturing Association? TMA represents nearly 1,000 manufacturers and over 30,000 manufacturing employees in the Chicagoland region. Headquartered in Schaumburg, TMA is a comprehensive resource for Midwest manufacturers looking to improve operations, strengthen their workforce, and grow their business. We strengthen our members by providing business support services, events, networking opportunities, and government advocacy. TMA is also a leader in training and education, helping our manufacturers develop the talent they need to grow and thrive. At our Schaumburg Training Center, our industry-leading instructors are providing hands-on training to prepare the next generation of makers. The TMA Education Foundation has donated over $1.5 million to area schools, providing young people with exposure to today's high-tech and high-paying manufacturing jobs. As a leading voice in an evolving industry, TMA cultivates and strengthens our members. Consider joining our member-driven association as we support each other. Learn more at tmaillinois.org.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Once again, the Senate has distinguished itself as the world's greatest deliberative body and vanguard of the Republic by putting high school yearbook committees across the country on notice. Dennis Miller's long-ago formulation of Congress as a bunch of mediocre intellects Earl Scheibed into looking somewhat consequential has never been more clearly illustrated than by the current Senate Judiciary Committee. My question is for establishment Republicans who were bailed out by Brett Kavanaugh and Lindsey Graham. Two establishment Republicans recently mugged by the reality of the left themselves themselves? Does the Shakespearean farce you witness clarify things for you? Do you now understand what you're up against? Will you now turn a deaf ear to the left's siren song? Do you now realize that whether it's the Supreme Court, Russian collusion, or tax cuts, the left entices you with talk of common ground only to carpet bomb you as soon as you step onto it? You should find it instructive when 3 former state attorneys general, Senators Harris, Blumenthal, and Whitehouse, discard the presumptions of the American justice system and thus the rule of law because they can. Now you should locate your backbones. You should define the stakes and bring the fight. Brett Kavanaugh picked up the first round. November 6th is on you.
Are you still stuck on the healthcare roller coaster? Still paying those high premiums? And strapped into huge deductibles? Not knowing what's around the next turn? Well, then let me tell you about a sound, sensible healthcare choice that really is affordable. It's Medi-Share, the healthcare sharing solution people like you have been trusting in for more than 25 years. Medi-Share members report saving around $500 a month on their healthcare costs, and they never pay for things they don't believe in. Time to say goodbye to that healthcare roller coaster and say hello to Medi-Share.
Call *734 to find out how much you can save on your healthcare. Medi-Share. Call *734. Message and data rates may apply. That's *734.
Message and data rates may apply.
The moment your child was born, your life changed forever. A dream came true, but other dreams, like getting your master's degree, may have been put on hold. But it's not too late. Patricia is earning her MBA from the University of Illinois as part of the iMBA program, 100% online on Coursera.
After giving birth, it was really hard. I don't think I would be able to have finished any other program.
Coursera is your online path to master's degrees from acclaimed universities. Discover the degree right for you by texting PROUD to 250250. Applications available now.
Getting my MBA makes me feel empowered. I don't need to stop working. I don't need to stop being a mother. I don't need to stop having my life. And that is everything.
Find the degree right for you by texting PROUD to 250250. Coursera, your course to success. Text PROUD to 250250.
Message and data rates may apply.
Looking to spruce up your home with fashionable new window blinds, shades, and draperies? Look no further than Chicago's own Eddie Z's, the window treatment experts that come to you. Eddie Z's is offering radio listeners an amazing offer. Buy one window treatment and get the second at 50% off. To schedule a free shop-at-home appointment with one of our friendly and professional design consultants, simply text WINDOW to 642-642 or go to eddiez's.com. By providing an amazing selection of today's top brand names and styles and advice from experts who come to you, Eddie Z's has earned an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Save big with our buy one and get 50% off on the second treatment of select blinds, shades, or drapery. Nobody does blinds and drapery better than Eddie Z's. Nobody. Take the first step into transforming your home with beautiful window treatments by scheduling your free at-home consultation. Simply text WINDOW to 642-642 or go to eddiez's.com. Text WINDOW to 642-642.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's a great product. And the one thing I like about it the most is that when you open the bottles, you can smell like the scent of the fruits and veggies. It's no genius thing to it. It's really just fruits and veggies, which everyone needs. And you guys kind of put it in a way where you can take it easy and you can get it, and it's natural, and that's what I like about it. You know, I like the product, and I've taken it, and it's definitely made me feel a lot better. You know, I am a healthy person to begin with, but it's definitely good prevention, and it's definitely gives me energy, and I feel like it's a natural thing. I like it. I really do.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
I got a new name for Senator Lindsey Graham.
What?
Senator Honey Badger. Did you see his performance on CNN?
If you don't like me working with President Trump to make the world a better place, I don't give a
Potty mouth.
This is the honey badger. Watch it run in slow motion. It's pretty bad. Look, It runs all over the place. Whoa, watch out, says that bird. Ew, it's got a snake. Oh, it's chasing a jackal. Oh my gosh. Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy. The honey badger has been referred to by the Guinness Book of World Records as the most fearless animal in all of the animal kingdom. It really doesn't give a shit.
Not only is he Senator Honey Badger, if I'm not mistaken, I think he narrated those Honey Badger videos that are so popular. It sounds sort of like Lindsey Graham.
Sure. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Our big thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, our associate producer, Quinn